As you can see, I'm having a cigarette.
Yep.
So, that's unfortunately still a thing, but it's way, way less. I found out that I'm at about 4 cigarettes right now a day. Before, I was at about 20-something. Because there's 25 in a pack, and I would usually have some left over for the morning. So, probably like 22. So, I've cut back a lot. And the 4 is keeping me sane right now. This week is going to be real shitty. So, I'm probably not going to go full off this week. I have at work a regional manager for like the airline I work for is coming, and like everybody's pissy and annoying, and I don't want to be part of that with everybody else being pissy and annoying. So this week 4 a day I think is okay for me. Y'all have 25 in a pack? Yes, we do.
Yeah. My dad has tried to quit smoking a bunch of times, but always unsuccessful.
Right.
Also, part of it for him is his mother, my grandma, who's like in her 90s and still alive, has been a fucking chain smoker her entire life and just like sucks down one right after the other, like constant smoking.
Yeah.
Hasn't had a problem, so it's that's his experience.
Yeah. I mean, we didn't really have a smoker in our family. Like, my grandma smoked while I was young, but, like, not around me or anything. One time, like, I caught her having a cigarette in the kitchen when I, like, snuck out of bed. And then, like, she stopped a few years after that, so it wasn't a big issue. But, like, my other grandma smoked, like, a lot.
Yeah.
So, but we didn't really have smokers in the house. It all actually started with, when I started working night shifts, basically. It would help me, like, stay awake, that and a coffee, give me a nice buzz. And then it just became an addiction after that. Yeah, so it's rough.
My friend I go to see movies with, his smoking habit got much worse once he started working, and like a smoke break was like an excuse for him to get out of his office.
That's actually exactly correct. That's exactly how it really started with me, because like growing up I had cigarettes and stuff. Like your friends would like have a cigarette and then they offer you one, or like you'd go to the bar or something and you'd have a smoke with them, like, but it wasn't a full out addiction until I started working where I work. So like, it was just like, I didn't even ever buy packs. I would just usually have 1 or 2 with somebody.
Yeah.
But like, yeah, it turned into a full-blown addiction, and now I'm fucked. So that's good.
I mean, I know about enough. I've always known enough about myself that I could get addicted, though, so I've never even had one.
That's totally fair. And I can honestly say, as somebody who even, like, a lot of times enjoys smoking, like, it sucks. Even, like, when you like it, it's still shitty. There's, like, nothing good about it at all. Even when you love it, you hate it. It's weird. So, you're not missing out on, like, anything at all.
It can look cool in movies and stuff.
Dude, like, not even. Sometimes. Like, even as a smoker, I'm just like, why are they smoking? Like, sometimes. It depends, because when you talk about, like, a smoky bar or something, it's like, okay, there's a setting, there's, like, low lives here sort of thing. It all kind of fits the atmosphere. But, like, when a random person just, like, goes out for a smoke, you're like, come on, Keanu Reeves, you don't smoke. Fuck off. Like, they just look awkward, basically. Night shifts suck. They sure do. But
like in this anime Cowboy Bebop, there's just a really good shot of someone passing someone else another cigarette in zero gravity, where it just floats and he grabs it out of the air. It's pretty cool.
That's pretty cool. Solid Snake never even looked cool smoking a cigarette. You know who did look badass though? Is Big Boss with a cigar. Cigars are like okay in my book, because like there's, for one thing, there's not as many additives that make it addictive and like really kill you. It's still gonna kill you because you're inhaling fucking burning shit into your lungs, but it looks so much cooler.
Yeah, my dad's father, my grandfather on that side, smoked cigars.
Yeah.
It was like my dad always thought it was really cool, but he like just couldn't do it. Like cigars were just too fucking much for him.
I have right here Cuban cigar I've been waiting to crack into. I've had these before. I don't remember why. Like, my grandfather, one of them, like on my mom's side, was a piano player. Like, that's been his career and profession since he was young. And like somebody at like this upstanding hotel or whatever, somebody like gave him as a present like a box full of Cuban cigars, and being a stupid kid I used to steal them all the time because he didn't smoke anyway. So like I haven't had a Cuban cigar since I was a kid, which is a dumb thing for anybody to be able to say, but like I remember never being able to finish one like at all, so I'm a little bit worried about starting this bad boy up because they kind of smell like shit when you like just have it sitting around.
They're stinky for sure.
How old is that guy? I don't have any idea. Actually, weirdly enough, like I was saying, like my grandfather was given a box of Cuban cigars. This Cuban cigar was given to my father on New Year's Eve because he's also a piano player. And he's like, I don't smoke, so here. And he gave it to me. I was like, oh, okay. Thanks, I guess. Thanks for killing me, Dad. Appreciate it.
No problem.
No problem. But yeah, that's the news on the smoking front. It's been actually not too bad. I used to smoke a bit more during college because that was just kind of the thing. But like it was never like an addiction like it is now. So the first time I quit smoking, quote unquote, it was super easy because it wasn't a necessary thing at that time.
Yeah.
But like now it's actually hard. This is the first time I've legitimately wanted to try to quit since then, and that was like what 10 years ago. So it's been hard.
Yeah, like I also know it can be hard when you're around other people that smoke in particular. Like that was, I think with my dad, he worked in construction for a lot of years and fucking everyone smoked, so it was like impossible.
Yeah, that's kind of where I'm at too. Like even just today, like my supervisor smokes, and then she's like, "Do you want one?" I was like, "Fine." Like I'm just off. I don't even have to buy them at this point. I'm just like offered them. So if that makes any difference, I stopped buying them. Yay!
Saving money. It's good.
That's actually one of the more important reasons why I want to stop, because I just am starting to not be able to afford it with our dollar being such shit.
Yeah.
And I have this video game addiction, which is way more expensive.
Yeah.
So that's one of the reasons.
My grandma gets really cheap cigarettes because she buys them from like Egyptian cab drivers.
Yeah.
Who have these things. They're cigarettes, but they're labeled cigars so that they get around some of like the cost tax stuff on them. It's really weird. Yeah.
I mean, cigarettes here are heavily taxed, though. Like, they're not as heavily taxed in the U.S. Because anytime I talk to somebody from the U.S. and they're just, like, bitching at me, like, oh, cigarette prices have gone up. They're, like, $7 now. It's like, motherfucker, we pay $14 minimum. So, like, we get taxed pretty hard on them, but...
Yeah.
Yeah.
As you should, because they're awful. But, yeah.
You know what? I'm not even mad about it, because the taxes that go to like the cigarette smokers actually pay for a lot of the free healthcare we have up here. So like, not even mad. I'm kind of just paying for like my future of like being stuck on a tube and life support.
That ventilator. Yep,
I'm just putting a down payment on my ventilator now while I'm young. Really, it's a smart thing to do.
It's not. Nope. That's not true. Don't listen to him, kids.
Only if you're Canadian, though.
That's true.
Because they're not as taxed in the U.S. So if you're an American and you smoke, you're an idiot. If you're a Canadian, you smoke, you're a good citizen.
Patriot. God damn it.
I smoked Camel Menthol Lights. Another funny story about menthol. Menthol's just straight out banned in my province now.
Huh.
Which is really weird. They're not going to ban smoking, just menthol. And it pissed a lot of people off.
I can see that.
Yeah. That was a silly decision I found, but what do I know? I'm a smoker. I'm an idiot, so whatever.
Yeah, it's just that, like in New York, you can't even smoke in front of buildings anymore.
We can't hear either.
Yeah.
They want everybody to be at least 15 feet from a door,
Yeah.
which is actually impossible downtown because 15 feet in front of a door is in the middle of traffic.
Yeah.
But what can you do?
Yeah. That's also the extent to which they enforce that stuff, that it matters at all.
Yeah. All that being said, welcome to the Burning Bear podcast. I'm one of your hosts, Paul, and with me is Hank.
Hello!
We're back! We did it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was like, we should do a podcast. And you're like, yeah,
We should do a podcast.
podcast.
Even though, like, TDP is a regular thing, I always kind of prefer doing this one. Like, I'm not gonna lie, because I'm much more myself here. Because there's no, like, strict format to follow here, right?
Mhm.
So it's just, like, just conversations, and this is where I'll get, like, rude, or, like, maybe drunk, depending if it's a weird night or something. Like,
Not. Yeah, just fuck it.
this is, like, the
Say
Real
what you
Me
feel, man.
podcast. Yeah. And also, we talk
fuck-
more than
Yeah.
just video games,
Yes, that too.
which is nice.
And also, fuck spoilers. Fuck, like, being shy about it.
Yeah. Speaking of which, I see here that you played The Witness, and I want
Yeah.
you to, like, for anybody who might be sensitive, there might be spoilers, but I want to know why I should buy this game.
Okay. Do you like puzzle games?
Yeah.
And so, the big thing about The Witness is it's all, like, sort of maze-like puzzles where you have, like, a cursor, you start in a point, and you navigate this maze to get to the end.
Right.
And throughout the game, the big change, those are always the kind of puzzles you're solving, but there are different rule sets you'll get introduced to, and it's always like you'll find a new area and it will have like tutorial puzzles teaching you the rules of this kind of puzzle. So then you'll do like a whole area that solves that, and that comes to like a conclusion of like you've cleared this part. And that's like, you have to clear like 7 big parts, and they open up these big lasers that shoot to this one thing in the the top of a mountain. And that's all the only like progression that I've seen so far when I've played, because I've only gotten a couple of the lasers up so far. And every once in a while, you'll find a random puzzle that is like using multiple rule sets. So I've found puzzles that have rule sets that I don't fucking know how they work, so I can't solve that puzzle yet, because I haven't found the area.
Huh. Okay.
And the part where the game starts, like, where you're like, oh wait, there's more to this game than I noticed, is when you realize you can use the way the puzzles work is like you press a button and it goes into a specific view where you have like a cursor, because
Okay.
normally you don't have a cursor, and that is part of like the problem with FOV stuff in this game, where this game made me nauseous at first. I had to adjust the FOV sliders because it was
What FOV does it start off with? Because I get nauseous at any first-person game with an FOV of less than, like, 85 to 90.
It was at like 54 or something.
Okay.
It was real bad.
That would
They
actually
put in-
make me puke.
Yeah, no, 2 hours in, I was feeling really bad. They put in a slider, so it goes up to 120 now.
Yeah. Okay. Good.
But when I played it and I stopped, the like solution was you can go into this text file and manually alter the FOV.
Okay.
So that was there.
Well,
but
whatever
they-
works.
Yeah, and they've put it into the game now, so there is an FOV slider.
Good.
They fixed that problem, which was like, why was this a problem with the game originally? Whatever. They fixed it. So the big thing is you can use that ability to bring up your cursor thing, and it holds the screen anywhere in the game. So even where there isn't a screen. So the part where the game starts becoming really interesting, kind of, is when you start finding the environmental puzzles. That's like anywhere you find a circle, that's like where you can start your cursor, there might be a puzzle there There might be like you might have to move around and affect your perspective on what you're looking at in the area into solving this other puzzle. That's usually the whole puzzle there is just finding the right spot you need to be and looking at it, the thing right.
Right.
And then it like shoots out this energy and a piece on these obelisks that are in the area lights up. And I don't really know what those do other than that they're these environmental puzzles.
Okay.
You find them. And like the first time I figured that out was like I was on the top of a building looking through a window and clicked on a pot and it like sparked up because that was potentially where I could solve a puzzle, but I had to like fiddle with it to figure out how to actually do it. It involved moving things. It involved solving another puzzle slightly differently, because some puzzles will have multiple solutions, and then can change certain things about the world after that. Like it'll either, when you solve a puzzle, usually it powers up a wire that goes to some other puzzle. Okay. And sometimes a puzzle can have multiple wires coming out of it, so you have to solve it in different ways to light up different things, or sometimes the puzzle will want you to solve it like 3 different ways before you can even progress.
Huh. Okay.
But the other cool thing about, like, the thing I really like about the game is that all the puzzles, at least like the starting ones, are just there in the world for you to go solve.
Right.
Like it's open in like a Metroidvania style way of like you have to go to these areas and solve these puzzles, but instead of like finding a wave beam or getting a power up that then allows you to go back and explore different areas you couldn't get into before,
it teaches you a new way to look at the puzzle that you couldn't do before.
Yeah, you've gained knowledge and now you can open these things.
See, this is a type of brilliance that like only Jonathan Blow could really approach. But the thing I was asking somebody is that, do these puzzles feel difficult in the way that, like, there's a reason? Like, is there, like, a nice progression of difficulty in these puzzles? Or is it just kind of, like, a Jonathan Blow, like, circle jerk pretentiousness thing where it's just like, no, it's gonna be hard right from the beginning? Like, do you actually gain knowledge and, like, are you able to take that and progress through the game? Or is it just all hard because Jonathan Blow is wanking all over people's faces saying, I'm smarter than you?
No, there's a definite progression to it, particularly in those sequences of puzzles.
Okay.
Like, so there's puzzles that are based on, and this one took me a while to figure out. They're all look the same. It's all basically like it's a big circle in the middle, and then they're triangles. It's like a hex type shape.
Okay.
And then there are exits. Like at each point, there's potentially like an exit where you could solve it, but you don't know which one's correct. And it turns out you have to like step back and see the light shining on the puzzle, and then it'll like show out this scorch mark of where the thing was. So once you've figured that out, because the game's not going to tell you, you have to look at this puzzle in all different ways to figure it out. You can sort of start moving through all these sequences of puzzles, and then they start mixing it up in different ways. Like you have to hit switches to move lights. There's like a room where it's all about reflections in the water. So there's like switches to raise and lower this water, and some of them it's like, oh, if it's down, then you can see this one. If it's up, you can see this other one. This one, you have to see it exactly as the water's moving down.
Oh, weird. Okay.
Yeah. And a lot of the puzzles are like, some of the puzzles are like, oh, you have to remember what this one looks like and then solve it over here. So I've got I have a notebook that I'm writing down certain things because I need to remember
That was going to be
stuff.
my next question. Like, are you into that camp now?
Where
you're, like, writing down?
Like, I could be taking screenshots, but I like having, like, this dumb little notebook with these little like, just writing down
nice
little puzzles.
I have a little notebook full of D&D things as well. So, I like having notebooks where you write down stuff when you're gaming. It's nice.
And I happen to have this, like, family gave it to me for Christmas, so it was sitting on my desk. I was like, I'll use this dumb thing. Sure. This is fun. I like that. So I like all that about it. The thing about it is, like, the only thing you're ever getting, at least as far as I've seen, from solving puzzles is more puzzles. Okay. Or sometimes not puzzles, like some weird room with like some art in it that Jonathan Blow set up and thought was interesting. Like, and none of that does anything for me. It's literally all I care about in this game are that the puzzles are neat. So, and I like the progression thing. I like that it's stuff is Metroidvania except with knowing things. I think all that's cool.
That does
it's also like
sound real cool.
I think it's a really neat game. I also don't get the people who are like really feel strong emotions for it. For me, it's like, this is a neat puzzle game. Like,
what else do you need to feel?
I don't know. People are going crazy for this. Some people are like over the moon for this thing, and I don't really get it. It's neat.
That's all you need.
Yeah.
All you need is love.
It's a neat puzzle game. I've put like 6 hours into it so far. Like sometimes I found a couple puzzles. I'm like, I know the thing here, and I don't see it. Like I've tried over and over again to see this one puzzle. I'm like, and I don't want to like. I could go on the internet and find the answer, but that would like break it, and then I wouldn't really be doing that too often. So I just had to go away. But so there is also the advantage of whenever you get stuck in a puzzle, you can just walk away and go somewhere else.
Yeah.
It's frustrating when you're like in a sequence though and you get stuck, but yeah. I mean, I feel like it can be a big thing. The reason people don't want to spoil it is I think the environmental stuff, because that moment where you realize that they're around and you start looking at the world differently is kind of like a thing with the game. But I found that like in the first area I went to, so it wasn't like a revelatory moment of like changing my experience with the game. It was sort of my experience with the game the whole time anyway, so.
This is kind of like what I have a problem with when people don't want to talk about stuff though. It's because like now I'm interested and I want to see more of this idea. Whereas like before it's like I don't want to talk about it, I don't want to spoil anything. It's like, okay, then I still don't know what this is other than the screenshots I saw, and I'm not intrigued.
Yeah.
Like now I'm intrigued. So now I might buy it. But I might not because there's a lot of shit to do right now. But
there's a lot of shit to do. Like, I mean, I've stopped playing it to play XCOM.
I mean, you stopped playing it to play Digimon.
That Digimon, I've only played that on the go.
Let's talk about Digimon. What is this anyway?
So it's just a new Digimon RPG. There have been a bunch of them. Like particularly there were ones on the DS that were pretty good in terms of. So Digimon, it's Pokemon-esque in that it's like a monster raising thing. You capture monsters,
right?
But it's always you always have three. It's always kind of 3-on-3 battle structure, like at the same time with then priority based on speed. And you don't use Pokeballs. The way you can get the information to get a new Digimon is you like have fought that creature enough times that you've like acquired the data based on it to then create your own.
Okay.
But and then it's a little deeper in terms of the monster raising, where each Digimon can level up and has different sort of branches in which ways they can evolve into different creatures, and you'll want to go down different ways to get particular skills, and then you can have de-evolve them back down and then level them back up, but they'll retain some of those skills they had. So you can get like the more particular stuff you want.
Sounds cool.
Yeah, it's really neat. And so that is like the core gameplay. And they're also just like standard dungeon crawlers. You go into have random battles over and over again. It's kind of the structure. But what this one is cool is this one has a much more robust story than any of the ones I've played, where it's a world where there's virtual reality exists.
Okay.
And there are hackers in the world, and these hackers use special creatures called Digimon to hack.
Motherfuckers.
So then you end up getting a Digimon, and so you again given a Digimon by this weird person who like invades you. There's like a cool scene of like you and a bunch of people's like little avatars, like they're in a weird chat room thing, and some random stranger invades and tells you to go to this place or he'll hack you, and then that's how you end up getting a Digimon. And it's all very cute and stylish, and that stuff's really cool. But then like this weird thing happens to you where you become your like virtual reality avatar gets pushed into the real world, except it's all broken, so you look like you're out of res or something. And then this random woman drives up in a car, and her like shirt is all the way undone.
Yeah.
And she's not wearing a bra.
Yeah.
And she picks you up and tells you she's a detective.
Oh.
And now you're going to be her assistant detective. You're investigating things. Sure. And it involves you jumping into like TVs and computers in like a what looks like a res like thing where you're like floating in the air, except also all your Digimon are following you. Like it also has the benefit from like being a 3D game of all your Digimon are when you're in like the running around mode are all right behind you, running with you, which is always cool. And something Pokemon only does sometimes.
Right.
And usually with just your party leader. But this is like all of them running around inside you, which is just cool.
That's pretty cool.
And like it's fan servicey in that all the starting area, like all the Digimon you're fighting are like the baby forms of the ones that were the main Digimon in the original TV show. So it's like giving you the ones you want right off the bat. It's just cool.
Nice.
And it's cool to see a game like this, like realizing a lot of the Digimon audience grew up with this cartoon a long time ago and have gotten a little older, so putting a little more meat into the game. It's neat. The story's not great, but it's like I'm intrigued.
What's this on?
It's on Vita and PS4.
Of course.
Yeah.
The two
Also-
systems I don't own.
Yeah, and also it's also only available digitally on the Vita. Which is annoying because Vita memory cards are the space is valuable because those things are expensive and I don't really have a giant one.
Yeah.
But it's like 1.5 gig. I think I have like an 8 gig memory card. I think that's what I have. But they didn't dub it at all. It's all subtitled. They didn't bother to put in the work to dub it because there's a lot of dialogue in the game. And I kind of get it because it's more like this game wouldn't come out over here. Like there have been
Right.
plenty of Digimon games that haven't come over to the West, including the one that really burns me is there was one that was literally just the story of the first TV show as a video game, which I fucking want, but it was like a PSP game and it was late on the PSP, so it never came out over here at all. So that we're getting this at all is cool. Like there have been other Digimon games we haven't gotten, so I'm totally cool with them not having dubbed it just because we got it at all.
Okay, cool. Sounds interesting. If I never grew up with Digimon, would I care about this at all? Like, is it too fan servicey where like only a fan would have fun with it, or?
No, because it's still if you just want a solid monster raise and dungeon crawler, it's sound. And there's enough like the story is weird and not like any other Digimon story in terms of like the virtual reality world and becoming a detective's assistant and like this coma thing. Like it's not connected to any other like world of Digimon. They're just the monsters in it just happen to be Digimon. So it also hits me on that fan servicey way, but it's still a solid dungeon crawler. I mean, there are other games I would recommend before this, like actually Persona, but this is cool.
Okay, cool.
And like I'm glad it's on the Vita because it's a dungeon crawler. So that's like the platform where I can tolerate that kind of stuff.
Yeah, fair enough.
Also, it like you'd have to buy 2 copies of the game, but it at least has a cross-save functionality with the PS4 version, if you happen to have both.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If it were cross-buy, that would probably make it even better, but whatever. Oh well.
Peter is saying there's a fan translation of the last PSP Digimon game.
Yeah, that one I think was more straight dungeon crawly monster raising. Like that one was more of a remake of the first Digimon World game, which is
Okay.
much more like Tamagotchi-esque in terms of really just being about raising a monster and like having it poop and
Okay.
die of old age. I know happened in the original one. But I think they added a little bit of story, like probably along the lines of like that Etrian Odyssey game that took the original and then added some kind of story around it. Just a thing RPGs have done. I don't know.
Sure.
The one I really want, the adventure one, it has a fan translation, but it's not done yet still. But
Maybe one day.
maybe one day.
And then you'll be happy for once.
Maybe. I mean, it will still be an old RPG on a PSP, so I'm not sure how excited I'll be. Once
Fair
Persona
enough.
5 comes out, I'll be happy.
Yeah. When is that? Like, I know it's this year, but...
It's supposed to be this. They haven't given a firm date.
Okay.
Last
That's
summer, it's supposed to be.
Okay.
but it could easily get delayed again. Who knows? They're doing a lot of shit in that game. Like, you could pit baseballs, weird minigame stuff that was in the trailer. It's like, we want this game to be huge, so we will have baseball minigame.
Huh.
That game looks
Alright.
crazy.
Let's talk about XCOM.
Yeah.
That came out. We've both been playing it. I hate myself, and I hate that fucking game.
Sounds about right.
Yeah.
It's very much still just that last XCOM game again, but like shinier in a bunch of ways.
Oh, it definitely feels like a sequel to that, for sure. I actually much prefer, like, kind of the story beats to this one. This
one definitely, the story and presentation stuff is much better.
It's much better. I will tell you, I fucking hate the timer for, like, the aliens and their, like, advent or thing or whatever.
Yeah.
Because
and also within missions, the timer fucking drives me nuts. Like, I had a mission where I actually got to the thing, but using it required another turn, so I was fucked. That's the worst. Because some of them you don't require another turn, but some of them you do, and it's like, how do you know?
I'm still kind of okay with that one. I'm not okay with the overall timer because I was doing a lot of side missions, and, like, now I feel like I can't do anything to, like, level up, basically, to, like, grind out some of my dudes.
Yeah.
Like, now I feel like pressure's on, and I get why, I just fucking hate it. I think it's bad.
So I had to start a new run, because in my run, you have to build the Skulljack or whatever.
Yeah.
And the person I had it on died, and then like a couple missions later, I realized I couldn't build another one or something, so I was just fucked.
Really?
I couldn't see it as an option under the things I could build on my base. Also, I was fucked for a bunch of other reasons, because everyone had died. But,
right.
But that was like the one where I was like, oh, I guess I just need to start over, because I don't actually see a way to build another Skulljack. What the fuck?
I don't like that.
No, it's real bad.
That's real bad. I really don't like that.
Although, whatever. I started a new game, and I'm playing on Iron Man mode, because that's how I play those games anyway. I don't feel good about save scanning. Yep. That's how I played Massive Chalice, and I got to the final mission and then died.
And then you never touched it again.
No, I did actually play a bunch of it after that. But,
oh, okay.
But yeah. The thing that's to me is that this feels the same as that other XCOM is like the percentage stuff feels just as misleading and weirdly broken as it did in the last game.
Totally.
Which is that much weirder to me, because in that's the like a big thing I haven't really thought about Massive Chalice. I liked a lot more. The percentages like felt right. Like when it said these were your chances, like it just felt correct to when I would miss and hit.
I don't even look at percentages.
It never feels right.
I don't even look at them anymore. They're useless. I've hit so many times on like a 28%, and I've missed like almost every shot at 80 and above. It's stupid.
Like I don't get it. I don't understand how it's working. It always feels wrong, so fuck. That's like my biggest that's probably my biggest frustration is just playing the game. I feel like this thing isn't feeding me the information correctly, or something's wrong. Something is just off. I don't know. This also, from what I can tell, has my other biggest problem with XCOM that Massive Chalice actually dealt with pretty well, is that the difficulty is very much upfront in terms of like, if you're losing your recruits early on, the game is really, really hard.
Yeah.
But if you have guys, if you're not losing people and they live longer, they level up and they become so much better that then the game becomes much easier to deal with stuff.
Right.
Whereas in Massive Chalice, your people were always going to die eventually, so you're always sort of cycling through either way.
See, I don't mind that for me personally, because I think it's a nice reward for like taking your time and like making sure your dudes don't die if at all possible. It's kind of like a nice reward to, well, they're gonna have an easier time now.
Yeah, but the reward in Massive Chalice was you would get like this people who lived longer would get like a super nickname, and they would get a unique weapon that then you could pass on to other people in their house. It's like you would get these cool, unique graphics, and it was a different thing. But yeah,
sure. I'm just trying to think of some other problems I have, because overall I like the game, but I do have some other issues. I can't remember XCOM Enemy Within Unknown or like any of the older ones now, but was it always that like you would have a giant gunfight or something, and then you manage to scrape by, and then the game just decides to throw more at you without like any recognition at all? Or is that a new thing?
I think
I don't remember
the reinforcement
like
stuff is new. Because
I hate that.
It's really bad when you've sort of created a perimeter, and then they get dropped down in the middle of you.
Yeah.
That happened to me on the mission I was playing tonight. Although somehow no one died, but that's fucking obnoxious.
I just think that's like a bad way to kind of implement quote-unquote difficulty by like showing you a difficult thing, and then when you feel like you've got a handle on it because you've positioned yourself accordingly, they drop 5 more guys behind your dudes. Like, that's just rude.
The part of it that makes it really frustrating is whenever the enemy notices you, they all get free actions.
Yeah, that's bullshit.
That's the worst, because that makes exploring such a pain in the fucking ass, because as soon as you spot someone, they immediately spot you and then run and then like start shooting at you.
Exploring in that game is actually finding a sacrificial lamb that you don't mind losing and making them go ahead, basically. It's really, really rough. And like, not in a way that feels fair. I think that's my problem with it, is that like it just doesn't feel right somehow.
Yeah, and it's also like in this game with the time limit stuff, it's always pushing you to fucking send people up ahead.
For sure. I don't know. Overall, it's the same gameplay, and it plays fine.
Yeah, it's cool. There are some new additions. I think the maps are much more interesting visually.
Totally.
Like, it's much better about that. Like, I got really sick of seeing the same fucking maps in the last one.
I fucking love that universe too. Just like the little things, like the Vipers basically don't need to be hidden anymore because like they control everything, so they're just chilling in their normal form all the time now.
Yeah, I remember another thing that's bullshit. He's like in that mission where you have to rescue civilians, and then one of them turns out to have been an alien disguise.
To be a faceless.
And you're just fucked because you had no idea.
That was bullshit.
It's those things that are they're all beginner traps, because once you know to expect that stuff, it's not that bad. Like on my second game, I've played through a bunch of the same missions, and I haven't lost anyone just because I fucking know what to expect.
Yeah.
Whereas the first time, like, boop, Spart's dead.
Yeah. Yo, I got a story about Spart, but before I get to that, that's still kind of like the draw to this game, right? Like for me especially, the fact that you name your character, you make a character, you name him after somebody you know or kind of know or are friends with or whatever, and then it becomes kind of like the meta game of what's happening to your friends in this situation and no longer about the actual game itself.
Yes, for sure.
So, like, in my game, Spart went up a building, he scouted and spotted a bunch of dudes, and I was like, okay. Then battle starts. I send Spart behind, like, a lamppost or something to hide out. He gets stunned to the ground, like, by one of those stun guys, the agents or whatever. And is just, like, incapacitated. So Knight of Servia has to run across the fucking field after, like, a bunch of dudes are dead, pick him up and drag his stupid ass into the final area to make a final stand and hide him behind like a shelf. God damn it, Spart.
Yeah. The other thing is, like, on the overmap, I feel like too much shit is popping off.
Yeah.
Particularly when you're stuck in a place, like, waiting days for... that you always have to be waiting days for this thing to resolve.
When you have a time limit. It makes you not want to do any of that cool stuff. That's what the problem is.
Yeah. But then also, that you're like, you spend all this time gathering intel, and then you pop on the map, and the fog of war is fucking brutal. And the way it works in terms of the enemy spotting you and then getting free actions. Like, it all works together to just feel like, this is just fucking annoying.
Yeah, it is. It really, really is. I don't know if I would even recommend it, honestly.
I mean, at this point, people know if they're into that. I feel like if they're into it or not.
That's when people, like, that's why I've had a few people say, like, is it good or whatever? And it's like, it's XCOM. Oh, I never played it. Oh, then you should buy the first one because it's cheap. And then see if you like it.
Yeah.
And if you do, then yes, it's good.
And I really feel like this one assumes you've played the other ones. Because
totally
a bunch
does.
of the early enemies are fucking brutal for first time. Like, that there's a mind control enemy is, like, right off the bat. Like,
I thought
that
that first mission had 2 sectoids in it. Which is insane.
definitely get sectoids in the first mission. I don't remember if this. I don't think the sectoids in the tutorial mission,
Okay.
which you can skip on subsequent playthroughs.
Okay.
Which is the mission where you rescue the commander. I don't think there's a sectoid in that one.
Oh, okay.
But like the second playthrough, the tutorial mission is skippable. The tutorial mission's also fucking annoying because they make you make decisions that get your people killed anyway. It's like, thanks. Yeah, I know people are supposed to die in this game. Ugh.
Oh, you know what else is annoying is that even if you know how to play these games and you're like, I'm going to skip past the tutorial has like all of the story beats in it.
Yeah, you still need to play that the first time because
It's annoying. I
There's a
hate
lot of
that they
story.
did that, but whatever.
yeah.
So how's your party doing? Let's talk more specifically about our games now.
Well, since everything got fucked in my first game,
Yeah.
I had to start a second one, and now things are going great.
All right,
Now
cool.
things are a-okay. I haven't lost anyone yet,
Okay.
so a bunch of people have reached like level 3 or whatever.
Nice. Okay.
I definitely had some people get injured and then had like their will shaken.
Yeah.
But I think I've set both of them into missions now, and they've both come out okay.
Cool. I kind of like that mechanic. I think it's neat. The way
Yeah, I
you
like
fix
that
it
one.
is by sending them back into battle and not letting them basically get fucked.
Yeah.
It's pretty good.
I still feel like snipers are gonna be super overpowered once
Yeah.
my snipers leveled up.
For sure.
That was my big thing in the first XCOM was like, my sniper, I give him a jetpack so he can get the best view of the entire battlefield and just fuck everything.
That's the way you gotta do it. For sure.
I do really like the dudes with the little robot
Yeah.
who can then heal other people
The
from a
engineers,
distance
or the
at a-
specialists.
specialist as a free action.
Yeah.
That's really fucking good.
That is really good. Specialists are dope.
Yeah. I'm definitely feeling much better about the game on my second playthrough, and things are going well than I was on my first playthrough when everything was going bad.
Did you put yourself in there, or are you just the Overlord?
I was in there. So on
Okay.
my second playthrough, I haven't specifically made anyone for it yet. I just had everyone in the pool.
Right.
So
and you're
it's-
just gonna recruit them.
I'm just going to recruit them as they come up.
That's what I've been doing. I didn't like make people for it. I just
Mm-hmm.
put them in the pool.
So I was, in my first playthrough, I was one of the last people left alive.
Oh,
That's my character. And he was beginning really good. He was a sniper. He was like fucking shit up, but then eventually a fucking Viper, like, just fucking tore one in half.
They're rough, man. They just
Yeah.
grab you from across the battlefield, pull you in, and just like twist themselves around you. You're like, oh, okay, that's bad.
Yeah. And like I was on a time limit and I had to get to a thing,
Yeah.
and they were hiding like right behind it. So I
Yep.
got like just in range of seeing the thing, and then they popped off. I'm like, ugh. I had a mission where I had Hebrew Lantern who's in the chat in my game, and he tried to slash. He was a whatever, I forget the name of that class that has the melee attack.
The Ranger.
The Ranger, and he had tried to slash a Viper and missed on like a 91%.
Yep, that happens a lot,
And then
actually.
he died.
Yep. I lost my best Ranger. I can't remember why. I think it was because John decided to go up top a building and a mech followed him up there, and she like tried to save somebody else,
Nice.
and then just got like fucking annihilated. It takes like no time at all for you to go from full health to just like ripped in shreds. It's crazy how
Yeah.
fast it can go.
I think the best moment someone had in my game was Steven, who was like face to face with a faceless and fucking lived to tell the tale.
Yeah, that. Oh, maybe that's where my ranger died. No, I definitely had the same thing. Like, went up to the civilian to save him. It's a faceless. I'm like, oh fuck, and then like they walked out somehow. I don't even remember how. There's a VOD of it on my channel. Maybe
Nice.
I'll have to watch the replay.
This was a faceless that had already killed 2 of my people.
Oh wow,
Yeah.
a faceless with a taste for blood.
Yeah.
That's fucking rough.
It was super rough.
Like I said, I still don't recommend it though. This
The other thing to people who start the game,
Yeah.
abusing the shit out of grenades up front
Yeah.
is really fucking useful because those don't
you
miss.
have to. No,
Yeah.
you have to. Like
Yeah.
I remember there was one mission where I actually literally could not get at a dude without like there's 2 like dudes on Overwatch, and one way to get around to like go behind the barrier or to flank them
Yeah.
just couldn't. So instead you just blow up the fucking barrier and then
Yeah.
everybody can shoot at them and then you're good.
Yeah.
Grenades are the most overpowered thing in that game. There was
Wow.
one mission, it was a VIP escort, and on one of my last turns, like there's the helipad area, like the place you gotta go to evac, and right in front of it is a soldier, like one of the normal Advent soldiers with a sectoid. And I'm like fucking scared shitless of sectoids because they can fuck your day up real bad.
I know, and it's like such a fucking crapshoot if they're gonna like reanimate some random corpse that's not even near you,
Yeah.
or they're gonna fucking mind control you, and it's like what?
No, when they reanimate a corpse, I just say a prayer. Like I can take a breath. It's like, okay, that's not bad at all.
It's like,
that's
oh my
okay.
god, thank God.
Yeah.
I can just ignore this thing, because then I can just focus on the sectoid itself.
So the way I got past this mission is everybody's on the roof. The sectoid's there. He takes a turn. I throw a grenade, collapse the floor below the sectoid, make him fall to the bottom floor, and then run past him.
That's amazing.
Fuck
That's
that
real.
dude.
That's real good. Yeah, that's the thing. Like when I was playing the game at first, every turn, like the sectoid was mind controlling someone.
There's a sectoid in every fucking mission.
And
too.
now I've played a little more, and I haven't seen the mind control anyone. They're all fucking reanimating corpses, including once he reanimated a corpse that was behind him, and like way far out of the battlefield, just like a random civilian.
Weird.
It's weird the way the AI works.
Yeah. The panic's
It's all
real
luck.
bad
There's
too.
so much luck. Oh my, panic. Sometimes it's good. Sometimes it's good where you got free action and they just fucking annihilate something that was in your way and you were worried about.
I rarely get that. I get the
I had
dude
that-
that screams, runs out in the middle of like a battlefield, and just gets annihilated from 4 different dudes shooting.
Yeah, that can happen too. That's real bad. Yeah. It's also frustrating if you have like 2 people left and they're both panicked and you actually can't do anything.
You're actually just watching the game RNG play for you. Like, it's weird. Yeah. By enemy within and enemy unknown, if you're wondering at all about XCOM. That's all I have to say. Because that's real cheap now, right? Like, that was on sale for like $5.
It was
something.
$5 for like both of them.
Those games are actually worth $5.
And it was just in a humble bundle recently.
Yeah.
But you get like Enemy Unknown for $1.
Yeah, the Humble Bundle, I think if you paid like the 10 or 15 or whatever for the mid-tier, you would just get like every fucking XCOM game up till now.
Yeah.
But yeah, the games are worth it, but like if you don't know if you're into that play style, I wouldn't learn with 2. It actually feels way harder than I remember the other one being. So
Yeah. I still, it's like, for all my complaining, I still think it's definitely enough of an improvement where I wouldn't want to go back to 1 having played this.
absolutely, I agree with you for sure.
So there's that.
Like, yeah. If you
There's
don't
also
know,
a bunch
though,
of stuff that I wish they'd gotten like I wish customization, man.
it's still bad.
They put in more of it. Like, it was fucking like bare minimum in the first game,
Yeah.
including I think to get color sliders, you had to pre-order the game. Like, if you didn't do that, you didn't get the fucking sliders for colors, which is real fucking bad.
Yep.
Dudes in that game were fucking ugly.
Yeah.
There's like more here, but it's just makes it even more frustrating that you still can't get enough. And facial hair looks real bad.
All of the hair looks real bad.
That's true. I'm
It's
also
very
put
silly.
on hats and helmets.
I will
That was
say
in
there's a
original
step up,
XCOM,
though.
I basically just liked using the helmets that covered their entire head, so I
Yeah.
wouldn't have to look at the dumb faces in that game.
I will say though, like in their defense, I think it's cool that you can have a hairstyle, and like if you put a hat on there, the hairstyle will still persist underneath it. I think they have definitely have like the basis. Like XCOM 3 is going to be amazing for customization when they figure out how to do sliders and shit. At least, like let me adjust like forehead widths and stuff like let me really get in there.
I know. I kind of don't get why it's not in there already. Because they talked about it a lot.
Yeah,
I thought they got it, but apparently they don't get it because it's still not nearly enough.
I feel a little misled from like streamers and YouTubers and stuff too that said like the customization's way better because like they also failed to say but it's not where it should be.
Yeah.
So I feel like I was led a little astray there. But I mean there is an official me I made. That's probably the closest you can get to making me. So there's that.
But also there is like an import feature in terms of like.
But why can't you just upload the custom characters to the workshop? That's what I want.
Yeah. I don't know.
That would be
I don't know
so
why not.
dope.
That would be cool.
Yeah.
It feels like a Nintendo like solution kind of
Yeah.
where it is right now.
Agreed. Maybe they're going to open that up eventually.
Yeah, that it has workshop support is
It does.
real fucking cool. So
Yeah.
I'm excited to see what people make eventually.
Yeah.
Like the community could really fucking make this game really fucking great in a while.
Oh yeah, for sure. It actually launched with a few from the Long War people. So that was cool.
Yeah.
need
So it's
more
cool
of
that because it's PC only, they could really
Yeah.
make sure that stuff was right.
Also, it's cool because it's PC only.
Yeah, that makes it cooler.
Well, because then
I-
they didn't have to worry about weird constraints with
Yeah.
like working with a controller for Xbox One and shit like that. They just could make the game and then release it. Like, fucking novel idea.
Weird.
I'm going to use that as a segue to talk about The Division. Because I read an article today where one of the Division creators just straight up admitted, like, yeah, they have to sacrifice a lot of stuff for the Division PC port, basically, so
Yeah,
that it doesn't...
Ubisoft has been on record as doing that a bunch with games.
They are, like, officially on record where one of the developers literally said that,
Yeah.
apparently, in an interview. So... that's cool, because of you fucking plebs buying shitty little fucking $500 toasters instead of a real machine. I get a shittier product. Thanks, assholes. But in
On
all
the other
reality,
side of that, it means that my hardware is gonna last a lot fucking longer because it's already better than those fucking consoles, and developers are still gonna be fucking tied to those things for a long time.
yeah, that's true. In all reality, though, the way somebody put it was, I feel, fairly succinct, even though he got chewed out because the internet just does that with asshole comments.
Yeah.
Is that, like, it's like Ferrari basically, like, not allowing cars to go over, like, 100 kilometers an hour because a Toyota can't. Where it's like, it's totally true.
Like, a thing where I don't care is I care about frame rate. I care less about fidelity stuff. And it's like, yeah, they could make the fidelity stuff better on PC.
No,
but
you should
they're
have the
clearly
options
tying
there.
it down. Yeah.
Because if you want better frame rate and you're running like a little older hardware, it's one of those things where there should be the option to go stupid if you can. But then just like make the default like default. Because how many people do you think actually go into their video settings and like tinker with stuff that are PC gamers? I bet not a whole lot,
Yeah.
honestly. So if you just like leave the default to look pretty much on par with like the Xbox One version or the PS4 version or whatever,
Yeah.
I'm sure more than like...
But like at the same time, I kind of get it because there's so few people that are going to do that. So it's kind of not worth their time to an extent to make to create much higher res assets.
No, they're spending time dumbing it down though. That's what the problem is. They're actually putting in the limitations after everything's made on computer and then ported.
Yeah.
So like, that's weird to me. Where they're
I
actually
don't
putting
know,
working time
yeah.
into it.
Some of that stuff's
I
Unclear.
It's weird. I don't like it.
Yeah. I'm sure there are design decisions that they had to make because of console stuff.
Oh, for sure.
And definitely the controls, you can tell.
Oh, for sure.
Made for consoles.
For sure. That being said, I like the Division for what it is. I hate it for what it could be and isn't. I really want the PvP to be throughout the whole fucking map. I want to be walking down one of the streets and then somebody to be poking out like an apartment building and taking a shot at me or something.
See, that's a total console thing. Because if it were a PC game, you could just set up servers where it was always the whole map PvP.
Yes.
But because they're designing the game under these certain console restrictions in terms of game design, they can't do that.
Right, for sure. So instead what we get is an arena, basically, and then PvE shit outside of it. I guess it's a compromise, but I've never been one to want to compromise. As you can tell by me saying, like, there's no reason why it should look the same as the Xbox version. But, yeah, that's kind of my biggest gripe with it. Other than that, it's an Ubisoft product, so it has that AAA polish to it. It feels like even the beta or whatever, I'm sure they were just server stress testing and shit like that. It feels, like, totally fine. It plays well. It has a pretty addictive gameplay loop of, like, the loot grind. And the whole playing with friends thing is kind of cool. I think it's a weird thing. I think the way they do, like, the loot in the Dark Zone is weird, where you call in extraction, but only 4 people at a time can extract. So, like, the idea is that your, like, party would all extract at the same time. Except there's, like, during the beta, there would be, like, 10 to 20 people around one extraction zone. And you're all just kind of waiting around.
Waiting for the bus.
Waiting for the bus, but it also allows, like, people that got their shit out to now shoot everybody else. Like, it's weird. It's all. I know they're trying to, like, promote the infighting and stuff.
Yeah.
But you shouldn't have to, because people are generally assholes, as, like, every fucking survival game online has taught me. So, I don't know. It's kind of weird that they're promoting what people are already going to do by, like, kind of putting that limitation in where not everybody gets their shit out at the once. But whatever. That's their own design decision. I'm a little bit worried about what the end game in that game will look like.
Yeah, I wonder.
I heard something about, like, they're going to try to implement something like raids and stuff like that, which would be kind of cool, I guess, but it's going to all come down to that same problem that every MMO since the, like, dawn of time has had, where once you get, there's, like, the certain loot you get, and when you get that, there's no reason to play anymore. So,
yeah.
I don't know. That's kind of why I like the PvP element.
Yeah.
Because if the PvP was throughout the whole map, then it's like, I kind of like the idea of being able to lose your shit. And I know that, like, I think it was Sean on TDP was saying, like, well, that, like, that wouldn't do good business or whatever. It's like, I don't really fucking care. There have been games like that, like survival games that have been doing that for a long time, and they're among my favorites. Like, I would much rather play, like, DayZ or H1Z1 than Borderlands, for example. Because I like the feeling that, like, I could literally take everything away from a person that they've worked so hard for, or that could be taken from me. Like, it gives me a reason to play. There's, like, a weird edge or motivation to not want to die.
Yeah.
But
it gives that added, like, stress level that also makes, like, the highs of the game much better. Again, that becomes a thing of, like, how if you have, like, the energy to put into it is like worth it to get out of it, like with Dota, where you've hit a wall or whatever.
Right. I guess what I'm saying is people that don't want that are pussy-ass bitches.
But this seems much more like trying to cut the difference between something. It feels weird, like trying to cut the difference between Destiny and those survival games, and trying to make a product that's still accessible. It's just a weird, cool thing.
Yeah, I think, like, for doing the mid ground, I think they're probably succeeding. My argument isn't really that. It's that I don't want a mid ground.
Yeah.
I like the black or white.
On the other, like, I think it would be cool if one of those survival games were anywhere near close to really being done.
That would be, I mean, yeah, of course. That would be way better. That being said, actually, I don't know if you probably didn't get an email, but like H1Z1's actually splitting into 2 games now. Their survival component and the battle royale are going to be 2 different products now.
Huh.
The reason being that like everybody plays battle royale and nobody plays survival.
Great. I don't even know what the battle royale is.
It's exactly what you would think. Like you load in with like, I don't know, say like 30 or 40 other people. Mm-hmm. The last person who survives wins. It's
Gotcha.
like the Hunger Games, or like literally Battle Royale, more specifically.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that makes sense.
It's like the whole map is, it's weird. So you all get kind of like parachuted in or whatever. The whole map is available, so you can go get guns. There's more guns and like ammo and stuff than normal, than in survival. So you can all get like geared up or whatever. Usually like 20 people die right away because everybody's like in a certain similar area shooting at each other. And then, like, as people spread out, there's, like, this green fog that instantly starts killing you if you're in it. Will start, like, coming in to force everybody into smaller and smaller areas until, like, the end. There's maybe 5 people, like, in a field together. So, yeah, I don't know. It's a cool concept, and a lot of people, especially streamers, have really taken to it.
It also seems like a different game.
It totally is. And, every time I've tried it, I've just gotten, like, fucking destroyed, so it's a little hard for me to want to play it, but it's real fun still. So yeah, they're splitting that up into 2. That's kind of weird. I got an email about it, and since I paid for early access, I get both. Hooray! I don't like that, though. Not that I get both. I don't like that they're splitting it, because that means there will be even less people to play the survival mode with.
Uh-huh.
Which is real rough, because there's already not a lot of people playing that mode.
I feel like the high on that genre is like dying because people are burned on those games not being done.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Yeah. That being said, DayZ is supposed to officially release this year. We'll
Interesting.
see.
We'll see what that actually means, even.
I know that they have a new renderer for that game coming out in like a couple weeks. So it might actually be running better eventually. That being said, it'll probably still be broken, but it will be running and loading better. It'll be a little more better optimized.
Yeah. I don't know. It's not like Arma is particularly well optimized anyway.
No, it's really not. But it works.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I got an email from a game company, which is the developers of Spera sent out an email.
Yeah, I got that too, actually.
Saying that the reason they had been quiet for a long time is they've been trying to organize an official Tetris licensing thing.
Yeah.
But that has not come together.
No.
Oh well. That would have been real fucking cool if they'd pulled that off. I'm
That
glad
would've
they
been
tried. Nice. I'm really glad they tried, but oh well.
I'm really glad that they sent something out saying that they...
Yeah.
Just the acknowledgement, like, yeah, dude, guys, we know. We tried.
Yeah.
It's like, that was my problem with it. It's like,
Yeah.
this game is fine, but it's not perfect, because it's not Tetris.
Yeah.
Oh, well. Did they give a reason why they couldn't get it?
So apparently, if they had gotten the official Tetris license, they would have had to split the platforms into separate user bases, which they were unwilling to do. Seemed to be what they were saying was like a big sticking point for whatever reason, which seems doesn't make any sense to me and seems bizarre, but that is apparently a thing.
Huh. That's really, really weird.
Yup.
It is now 2016. Spera is getting a huge overhaul. We're excited to announce we have created a brand new puzzle fighting experience that is both deep and exciting.
Yeah,
I
they're
like
also
deep and exciting.
they're also redoing the whatever, the code or whatever.
Oh, they're sending out invites to a private beta.
Yeah.
I'm kind of interested in that. I'm going to see how to sign up for that or get on their mailing list for that. I guess I am on their mailing list because they said...
I think it says like if they're going to prioritize people who participate in their subreddit. Weird enough.
Okay. How many people are in their subreddit? I'm just checking it right now.
No. So I think
40 people.
Like, so it's like, post something in the subreddit if you want an email.
Okay. I'm going to totally do that because I want to see what their overhaul is. I like what they showed because it's Tetris Battle Gaiden.
I played a lot of it. I really wish they got the official Tetris license. That's it would have real fucking cool.
Yeah. Oh. You know what's really fucking cool?
What?
Rise of the Tomb Raider.
Cool.
Yeah. Do you care about Tomb Raider at all?
I didn't care about that last one because it sounded like Uncharted, which I don't care about at all.
Okay.
I don't like that kind of gameplay.
Okay, that's fair. This probably is more what Tomb Raider should be.
Mm-hmm.
Because for one thing, there's tombs. That's pretty cool. Actually, that's the one thing I will say I really, really like about it. It still plays totally fine. Like the switching between different guns, the shooting, all that sort of stuff. It still feels pretty great. But the fact that there's just like optional tombs that like it's more of a sandboxy open world experience. So you're just kind of like in an area, you're doing a story mission, and then you see like maybe a cave opening. You're like, oh, I'm going to go check that out. And then like you go check out the cave, you see you can jump up into a different like area of the cave. So you keep going in there, and then you find like this tomb. And you're just kind of like doing a puzzle now. It's basically like a Legend of Zelda like dungeon or something without enemies. Because it's just like puzzling. That part is super cool, and that is what Tomb Raider should be. And I think the rest of the game detracts from those experiences of like stumbling on this cool thing by yourself when you have to like there's a village burning down and you're shooting guys and running through it. Like I think that ruins the cool experience I had like in the ice cave with this like Byzantine warship that's like frozen in the ice falling down that you climb up. That's what I want. And they put too many story beats in there that I don't care about, kind of. But I don't know. Overall, it still feels like an Indiana Jones type adventure, and I'm totally down for that because I love Indiana Jones.
Fair enough.
So, yeah, it's been cool. Mechanically, it plays exactly basically like the first one, and it's super, super solid in that. It's really well optimized, but that game can chug like a motherfucker. Apparently, people even like with double Titans and stuff that usually run stuff at like 1440p or whatnot. When they run this at 1440p, it just like drops sometimes below 60 because it just like takes so much resource. So it's not like the best in their optimization, but like it's just a big game. It looks fucking beautiful too. I made a tweet about this, and it always feels weird to tweet about when you say like Lara Croft looks fucking gorgeous. But it, like I literally mean her like model is really really well rendered. She has teeth. Like it's weird because usually teeth are just kind of like an empty space or maybe like lines drawn through it or polygons or something. But like when she talks and stuff, there's just like the little bit of teeth showing depending like what angle the camera's at. Like it's really fucking good. I don't know. That game is amazing, but I don't see how it's one of those things where it's like I would say that like let's say the Avengers or something, right? When the Avengers comes out. Yeah. That's always like a fun time to go see. But it's never like one of my movies of the year because it was a fun time, but it's not doing anything so spectacularly different or like necessarily even like new or anything like that. Yeah. That's exactly what this is. It's kind of like the summer blockbuster where you just shut off your brain, kind of go where this game takes you, and you're like, that was cool. And then you don't think about it when it comes to Game of the Year stuff because it doesn't really leave that much of an impression on you. And I'm totally okay with that because that is my yin and yang, yin to my fucking XCOM 2's yang, where I don't have to fucking think and I just have a fun time.
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah, I mean, I get it for people that are into that gameplay and that gameplay loop and stuff. It's just not for me.
Cool.
The other thing I wanted to mention that I had heard about The Division.
Yeah.
that like apparently I heard that in terms of its mapping to New York, it's 1-to-1.
Yeah.
It is missing some things. Apparently, it's missing 28th Street.
What's that?
Just a street is like missing. I heard that from the Beastcast guys who had played it because
Oh, okay.
that area is like near where they work. It was in the beta. It's like pretty close. But then they were like going down it and they're just like, wait a minute, where's 28th Street? So that was like hearing people like talking about the ways in which that game is not quite New York is interesting, like because that's part of my why in and why I want to play it is to see that stuff.
Is it possible that the street they're talking about just wasn't accessible through the beta?
No, because it's like they went from like 27th Street and then they were on 29th Street and they were just like, wait, what?
Oh,
What
they
happened?
just completely omitted a full block?
Yeah, they omitted like a street.
Amazing. Why? That's real weird. Is there nothing interesting down there?
I don't even know. I don't know, man. I don't have answers. That's what I heard. It's fucking funny. It's because that's the standard thing you get with New York in video games. They just cut out giant chunks of stuff.
Yeah.
It's just funny. It's like this is so specific that it's like they've got it down to they're cutting out single streets.
I wonder if it has anything to do with the fact that they're on it. Like CBSI or any... Like, maybe they're not allowed to showcase anything.
No, I think CBS was further south or something than the beta entirely.
Oh,
But
okay.
the beta entirely was still close enough that, like, and if you've been to New York, you've walked down those streets enough. So it's just a weird thing. It's a weird thing.
So then
I'm
they just,
interested.
like, cobbled it together so that, like, this alleyway just, like, connects to this street now instead. Sort of,
Yeah, that's
real
like
weird.
that's stuff that's what they usually do with New York in fiction. The funniest example of that kind of stuff is actually in the Law and Order TV show, where they'll go into like through a door and they'll be like on a completely different part of the city. If you
When
like
does
know
that
New York
happen?
really well, when they're just in buildings and stuff. If you know New York really well, you can notice it. It's
Oh,
just
okay.
funny.
That's weird.
Yeah. Fiction is weird in terms of like charting out actual space to what the space they're using
Yeah.
for whatever their needs are.
Are you looking forward to The Division?
Yeah, I am. I'm
Were you
definitely
in
gonna
that
play it.
beta?
No, I was not. But I saw enough that decided I wasn't going before the beta. I wasn't sure I was going to get it. I saw enough in the beta that was like, yeah, this dumb fake New York is fucking doing it for me enough that
Yeah.
I could play a loot game that's in this space.
I'm the same way. You know how they could ruin that for me, actually, even though I like Daisy and H1Z1? Throw zombies in there. That could actually ruin that game for me. I'm so fucking sick of zombies and, like, that type of setting. I kind of like the... Like, society has broken down and there's rioters and, like, just fucking terrorists and, like, cops and stuff. Like, I like that feel. Because that feels real.
Yeah. Apparently the big thing they left out of the beta is in the Dark Zone, like, you have, like, a time limit on your filter before
Yeah.
it breaks or something.
Yeah.
That-
That's
that's-
not in the beta because
Yeah.
you don't actually pick them up. You only pick up one filter for that whole beta. So I like that they did that to showcase it. But
But I wonder how that's going to feel when you play it.
I think it'll be kind of cool because it'll be one of those things where, it's like, if somebody's chasing you
Yeah.
or whatever, and you have like 5 filters, you're gonna run down to this like through the subway because the subway is like fucked or
Yeah.
whatever, and you can lose them in there because they're gonna have to back out because they're like down half a filter, and they're like,
Yeah.
oh shit, I'm gonna die, and then
It should also cut down on like the people standing around at the bus stop type stuff, theoretically.
yeah, I definitely agree.
We'll see them.
I want to see. I kind of wish it wasn't in the beta, to be honest with you. Like, I wish it was how it'll actually play, because I want to see how detrimental it really is to be in those areas without a filter. I would have liked to have seen that, because some of those areas are literally just like a 2-second run through an alleyway,
Yeah.
But, like, if you don't have a filter and you go through there, if it instantly kills you, that 2-second run through an alleyway can, like, save you if you're being chased.
Mm-hmm.
So, I don't know.
Yeah, for sure.
I would have liked to have seen that.
There's, I mean, again, part of that game is there's still a lot of that game that they haven't shown, so it's still like wait and see on how cool it'll be.
Yeah.
How it'll actually play out.
There was a rumor going around that this next week they're going to be doing an open beta for that. I don't know how true that is, but if it is, I think we're going to be playing a lot of it.
Oh yeah, there was rumors for an open beta. What I'm still waiting for is that fucking Overwatch beta to start back up.
Tomorrow.
Fucking, if I'm not in, I'm just gonna be salty forever until I am. The salt. So that's another reason, like, I ordered the Division. It's like, okay, I'm gonna be so salty if I'm not in the Overwatch beta at this point that I'll definitely want some dumb online game to play.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the Overwatch beta, like, even after, like, even if you are in and the Division comes out, we'll still play more Division because, like, we'll have played like 500 hours of Overwatch by then.
Fuck. So that's the other thing. I've been playing a lot of Heroes of the Storm again for whatever reason.
That's really too bad.
I like that game, and if it's like a podcasting game, I still think that one's pretty good because I don't have to really care like the way when I play Dota.
Yeah, no, I'm totally with you.
More attention.
I would much rather jump into Heroes of the Storm, like, at any time. I've been wanting to jump into League of Legends more as well, because League feels more like that middle ground that I want currently, where, like, it feels more like you have to kind of be thinking, but not nearly as much as Dota, because Dota is fucking ridiculous for that shit.
Yeah, League is still a thing. The League community is so bad, I'm not really that into playing it by myself.
That's exactly what my problem has been. And I've also found out that I'm kind of not keen on playing it with even people I know that play it regularly. Because, like, people that play it that I know, they're like, oh, it doesn't matter if you suck. But I know when I start playing it, they're going to get fucking pissy and I'm going to hate them. Because, like, this is what I found out, is that with competitive games, the people that you want to play with are people that are good at the game because they don't have this, like, weird problem with you sucking. Like, it's kind of like this weird, like, ego thing or something. Like, they know they're good, so they don't mind if they lose. Because it's
I mean, yeah. I mean, the same thing can happen with Heroes if you're playing with people who are taking it too seriously. What I like about Heroes is that I just do whatever. And like, I fight people constantly and die and whatever.
Yeah.
But it's just fun.
Yeah.
So.
That community is not corrupt yet, so...
Oh, it's so helpful that you can't talk to the other team. That was such a good decision.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
Because, like, what is the other team going to say? At very best, GG.
Yeah.
That's what they're going to say. Anything else, they're just going to, like, talk shit.
And it's much worse when you get people on your team complaining to the other team. Like, that's always just bad.
Yeah.
And it having that avenue of having people there to complain to makes them much more likely to complain and stop playing the game and just start typing.
Yeah, for sure.
Whereas Heroes, it's like people can get annoyed, but the games are short. They generally just keep going anyway.
Yeah. And all you have to say in Heroes is relax. Like, it's fine. Yeah. Like in League, if you say that, you just started a fight for the next 50 years. I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah, I know. I took a long break from Heroes, and I haven't had a game. I don't have a game right now. I've been trying other stuff, but
yeah,
Heroes, it's been the one that's hit the most.
Yeah, that's fair. I think that does it for games, though.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anything we didn't talk about is not important anyway. Recently.
I mean, Counter-Strike's pretty fucking cool, but...
Oh, yeah. Dude, Counter-Strike is badass.
Counter-Strike Source, specifically, because fuck Global Offensive.
Yeah. Global Offensive took the one good thing about Counter-Strike and fucked it up.
Yeah.
Gun game.
Yep.
Fucking Ice World is the best ever. And by Ice World, I just mean... What do they call it in that game again? in Source.
I
Or
don't even remember.
I think it's called just Gun Game in Source.
Yeah.
In Go, it's called something like Arms Race.
That's
Clever.
weird.
Clever. It's
Isn't
just
it called Gun Game in Call of Duty? Like, I don't understand why you wouldn't call it that.
I don't know. Maybe it's trademarked to Call of Duty.
It's definitely I think in some Call of Duty games is.
I think you're right. I think it's just the fact that there's like, how many people in an arms race? Like 10 or something, 5 on each side.
Something.
Maybe a little bit more. Let's say 20. That's still 20 people short of what you get in Counter-Strike.
And the maps
So
are so much smaller in Counter. They're like these just squares of like.
And they're homebrew maps of just like dumb shit.
Yeah.
They're so good.
And then you get the custom sound effect stuff. So.
Yeah.
Time to play the game.
It's so good.
Important. It's important.
It actually is. I never thought I'd say that intro is important, but it really, really is, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. That game is pretty important, though. And everybody should play it, because Source is like, what, maybe $1 now to buy? There's like literally no excuse why you couldn't.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
And people play it. Like, that game has people playing it.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Like, some of the fun I get from that is like is comparable to the fun I have with the pre-alpha for Unreal Tournament. There are way more people playing Source though than playing that Unreal Tournament alpha when I've played it. Like, they just are.
Oh yeah, for sure. There's a lot of people playing that game.
Yeah. Because it's good. Fuck.
Yep. Want to talk about a movie?
Sure.
I don't even know what this movie is.
Hail Caesar. It's the new Coen Brothers movie.
Oh, alright.
So it's a pretty much an ensemble cast but it's sort of starring Josh Brolin.
Okay.
And it's about like Hollywood in the 50s, I think. Where this and like the main sort of plot thing is the star of this movie, Hail Caesar, the story of the Christ, is who's played by George Clooney, gets kidnapped by this group of communist movie writers. And they demand this ransom for him. And it's really fucking weird. And the movie is very, like, the plot doesn't really matter. The movie's way more interested in just doing these vignette scenes. Like, my favorite scene in the movie is Josh Brolin has, like, gotten a like group of, like, priests and rabbis and stuff to assess the religious content in the movie Hail Caesar. And the scene of them, like, of them talking to him is just fucking hilarious. Where like one of the first rabbis like, well, I didn't think the scene where he jumped from chariot to chariot was believable. It's like, it's not why you're here. You wanted the religious stuff criticized, not the content. Whatever. And they get into weird argument. It was just really funny. But and then there's just lots of little weird scenes. Like they do whole numbers of like from old movies. Like there's a whole tap dancing sequence of like people filming a movie with Channing Tatum doing this tap dancing thing. That's just like, you don't see that in movies anymore.
That's cool.
And then there's like a synchronized swimming thing.
Okay, that's a bit weird. Why not?
I think it's I think it's Scarlett Johansson is in that scene. It's the main actress, and then she's like a great, like very crusty in terms of complaining afterwards, and she like cuts the scene because the like mermaid costume she's wearing is like too tight on her because she's just become pregnant. Then they're trying to figure out the way in which they can have her, there's another subplot, because they can't have her be just a single mother and have a child out of wedlock, but they can't, the father of the person she says is the father, who may not be the father, is already married, so they have to figure out another way, and like the way they figure out is like, we'll have her adopt her own child. Because a woman adopting a kid is okay, but an unwed single mother, that's not okay.
It's fucked up.
So like it's a silly comedy that's clearly just a bunch of weird scenes the Coen brothers just wanted to do. So it feels like they're just messing around, but it's funny. It's like the important thing. So I had a good time.
Cool. What's this previs action?
So this is like a 5-minute short that's on YouTube.
Okay.
That's by the director of the Raid movies.
Oh, I saw you post about this.
Yeah.
I haven't checked it out yet.
It's just like a 5-minute action sequence of like samurai, and this woman is like carrying a scroll, and she has 2 swords, and then these 2 dudes with swords try and fight her, and she fights them off. Basically, it's just a really cool, and it was filmed as like an example of how they could use the choreography from the Raid movies on content that would comply to like a PG-13 rating. So there's like not a lot of blood in it, but it's still people fighting with swords, and it's really cool action.
Cool.
Yeah.
You're gonna have to check that out.
Yeah, it's a really good. It's well worth your 5 minutes of its length.
Yeah, that sounds real cool, actually.
Yeah.
I mean, of course it would be, because the Raid is great.
Yeah. And that guy that guy in the first Raid who like is like, no, we have to settle this with our fists, and fights both those guys.
Yeah.
That guy's in it.
Nice.
He was also in the movie I saw recently, Yakuza Apocalypse. He was in that too.
Yakuza Apocalypse. Alright, fair enough.
Yeah. So I just wanted to mention that thing because people should check that out. That's on YouTube.
Are you gonna go see Deadpool this weekend? Do you care at all about Deadpool?
So there are Deadpool comics I like.
Okay.
The way the internet goes crazy about Deadpool drives me nuts.
Oh, he's a meme. Like, just straight up. Yeah.
Like, but again, there have been cool Deadpool comics that like, I don't like that trailer at all, so I'm not that excited for the movie. I don't think that trailer is funny at all.
Yeah.
And it doesn't capture what I like about Deadpool, so
What do you like about Deadpool?
I like the part where he's like, it's like, he's told, it's hard to describe. It's very hard for me to describe. It's where he's trying to be a good person. Like, he kind of wants to be a hero, but he's such a fuck up that he can't really do it.
Sure.
And usually, like, in comics, it's been that because he was, like, in love with this girl. But, that stuff is good.
Okay.
It's the Joe Kelly run on Deadpool is what I really like of Deadpool stuff I've run.
And this is not going to be that.
This is not going to be that at all.
Yeah, okay.
At all. So.
That's too bad. That's really too bad. It's going to be the meme-focused fucking Deadpool that the internet loves, right?
Probably.
That's this movie?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just don't find the trailer funny. Like, it has all these jokes, and it's like, I don't like these jokes. I don't think they're funny, and I don't like the style of this trailer.
I just want to see the action parts, honestly. I like dudes sword fighting. I like swords. They're great.
Yeah.
My biggest problem is I hate Ryan Reynolds. Like,
that seems like it could be an issue for
like
you.
a fucking lot. It's probably going to be an issue.
That's gonna be an issue for you.
Wasn't he the Green Lantern?
He was Green Lantern.
Okay.
He was also Deadpool in that Wolverine movie.
Yeah, but they burned his mouth off, so I'm totally okay with that.
Yeah, but he had that one scene in the elevator where he was talking a lot. I actually like that scene okay. I don't have a problem with Ryan Reynolds, but
I fucking hate him.
That's okay.
And yet, I watched all of Green Lantern, and I was okay with it, because I was just like, well, this movie just, like, exemplifies how shitty this actor is.
Movie was pretty shitty, but it's also
that movie had some parts that were okay.
That movie was whatever. That movie was fine.
You know what part was okay? Sinestro. He looked cool. And he was in it for like 5 seconds.
And not a villain. So it didn't quite feel like Sinestro either.
Yeah, no. Whatever. He was just chilling, you know, as he does.
Dude, his name's Sinestro. How do you not see he's gonna become a bad guy? Come on.
I think everybody knew or knows.
He's technically not the Green Lantern because he was the greatest Green Lantern before Hal Jordan.
Mm-hmm.
The greatest.
The greatest.
Greatest. Oh man, old Green Lantern comics are so fucking weird and terrible and amazing.
Wasn't there like a rabbit Green Lantern or something?
There's the Squirrel Green
The
Lantern.
squirrel. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, there are all kinds of Green Lanterns.
Stupid.
Hey, there's a comic book where Green Lantern turns his Inuit sidekick into a bird in his sleep.
Yeah, okay.
Silver Age is weird. Also, there's an issue where Green Lantern turns himself into a piece of mail and then mails himself to the villain.
That's fucking ingenious.
Silver Age is weird. Silver Age is real fucking weird.
Who was even the enemy in the Green Lantern movie? I can't remember. All I remember was like a cloud.
It was Parallax,
That's right. Yeah.
which is getting into like a whole weird other part of comics that thing wasn't at all. Just like we'll just drop a name and not have it be connected to the thing it was in comics. Because Parallax was the name Hal Jordan gave himself when he became evil. That then was retconned into being a giant yellow space bug that had been mind controlling him when they decided they wanted to make Hal Lantern not evil anymore. Bring him, redeem him. Comics are weird, man.
Why didn't they start off with like Sinestro?
I
something?
don't, because they assumed they would get a sequel because the franchise.
Oh, and they needed to build up.
Yeah.
So let's put the most confusing enemy as the first one.
It didn't make any sense. The movie had plenty of other problems, but just in terms of the big view, it also didn't make any sense.
I thought, like, anytime he, like, did something, it kind of looked cool, though. The effects on it were pretty neat.
It was stupid that his mask was CG. That was, like, why...
That's
That's
real
dumb.
silly.
It's real fucking dumb. You don't need to do that CG for that. Come on, guys.
Yeah, that's really silly.
Yeah.
Yeah. Alright, well, that's all I have for movies. Isn't there something else coming out, actually? Like, very soon? What's the next summer blockbuster after Deadpool?
I don't know. February's fucking kinda dead.
Oh, okay. I thought there was something else coming out soon. Maybe not.
I don't know. It's probably a couple months away before movies start. Hail Caesar's also weird because this is totally a movie I could see the Oscars really liking because it's sort of about a love of movies. But it's just sort of weird that it came out in fucking February. It's a weird time.
I'm looking forward to Warcraft.
I am looking forward to Warcraft. But that's probably much later in the summer, I think. That's like
That's June.
June. Yeah, that makes sense.
I can't wait. I'm actually excited. Because video game movies are all good.
All of them. Always.
All of them. It just depends whether or not you like them.
Mm-hmm.
You seemed real confused by that conversation that night.
I understood by the end, though. I understood.
Yeah. I don't think many other people did. Yo, video games are stupid, so there's no such thing as a bad video game movie. It just depends whether or not you liked it. That's what it is.
I really don't like the Tekken movie. Live action Tekken movie.
I never saw it, actually.
It's just not Tekken at all.
That sounds like a problem.
It's fucking, what is this?
That sounds like a real problem.
Yeah. Whereas Ace Attorney movie is fucking Ace Attorney. That movie is good.
Just from, like, the GIFs I've seen of it, it totally looks like Ace Attorney.
It's fucking Ace Attorney.
Yeah, it really looks like it. Which is
that
great.
movie was directed by the director of Yakuza Apocalypse.
Yeah, okay. Cool. I've some things we can talk about if you're down.
Okay.
I don't know if like we want to really discuss this, but it's a thing that happened. The fucking internet exploded because the Fine Brothers tried to copyright React or trademark it, and by tried I mean did, and then pissed everybody off.
Oh, the fucking counter that someone set up of them, the death counter of them losing subscribers was fucking hypnotic.
It actually slowed down. Like they're still losing people, but like that first day that somebody set it up, it wouldn't stop moving.
Yeah, once they got under 14 million, it slowed down a lot.
Yeah.
But they dropped under 14 million.
Yeah.
Incredible.
Man, it was fucking insane seeing that shit.
Mm-hmm.
So, for anybody who might not be in the know of what's going on, the Fine Brothers are internet personalities / e-celebrities that are most well known for their YouTube videos where they literally put a laptop in front of like a subsect of people. It's either elders or other YouTubers or kids are the big one, of various ages, teenagers, etc. And they put a camera down and film their reactions to like them showing them different internet memes or like news stories or any of that sort of thing. And what they did, or what they said they were wanting to do, is trademark their format and basically take money from people for them. Like, what would happen is you would become partners with them, and you would take their format and like their assets and all that sort of thing. You would make a video, and then they would get the money for it and pay you a little bit of it. Basically. Now, that's all well and good, except for a few things. First of all, their format is literally filming somebody's reaction to something. They literally fucking trademarked somebody having a reaction.
It's also like they're not like the people who came up with the idea of showing things to kids and filming it.
Right. Yeah, they're not the first people to do it, but they're the first people to try to like screw everybody else on it.
Yes.
What else are the problems? Oh, apparently that in the fine print where they're talking about like, because they say in their video like you'll use our like images and all that sort of stuff to like, it'll be like a brand sort of thing. Apparently they don't give you any of that stuff in the like fine print. It was saying something like we're not responsible for like that stuff, so they just straight up lied about that.
Weird.
I can't remember who it was. I think it was Total Biscuit was talking about this whole thing, and he has he has a law degree that he never uses, but like, except for when shit like this comes up, and he was saying how like copyright strikes and trademark infringements are completely different things. Yeah. Whereas trademark infringements, if you have a trademark, you have to aggressively pursue and take down everybody that tries to like go after it. Otherwise, you lose that trademark under fair use.
Yeah.
So just the fact that they trademarked reactions means even though they said they wouldn't do it, their legal team was like ready to pounce on every single person on the internet. That's gross. Like, it's they're actually sleazeballs. Like, and they're trying to get. I'm just glad that people caught on to it.
I'm sure glad people caught on to it. For me, it's more like, yeah, copyright law is fucked.
Yeah,
in a lot of ways. So I'm just glad more people are like aware of the ways in which it's fucked because of this one example of a thing that got attention on the internet that like people paid attention to. Because it's not like the thing was that them filing this copyright meant that they had to go down this road because that's how fucking copyright works.
Exactly.
It's fucked up.
Now, whether or not they knew that just either shows that they're sleazeballs or ignorant dirtbags. Either way, they're idiots and they shouldn't be allowed to do anything. More importantly, I hope they lose every fucking subscriber they've ever gotten. I've never really liked the Fine Brothers because I've always thought that their exploitative measures of like somebody's reaction to school shootings and shit like that has always been fucking gross. Like, it's different when, like, say I put a camera in front of myself, right? And I'm talking about something that happened because I'm giving my opinion on it. It would be completely different if I'm just, like, to my little brother, like, come here, sit down, watch this. Now what do you think, huh? And like,
Yeah.
I don't know. It's just weird. It's like they're literally making money for not doing shit. And I'm so glad they're being called out on some of the gross fucking stuff they're doing. I hate them so fucking much.
It's like an example of them going down the copyright law. It's just because they've made too much fucking money doing this, so they have lawyers that could push them to doing this.
Oh, for sure. And like stockholders and stuff. Like, I do think that they were pushed down this way. But like, it doesn't. There's
doesn't
not
make
an
it better.
excuse. Yeah. I don't know.
It's so fucked.
My position is fuck them. Though. That's my official position on the Fine Brothers.
I mean, it's that just because I don't respect what they do.
I've never respected what they do, but now I actually, like, vehemently hate them.
Fair enough.
This next thing I wrote down, because this was really funny. So, Steven Zewind, for people who don't talk to him by his real name, I guess, or whatever, and I were talking about somebody possibly buying views, and I'm not going to discuss more about that. But it got us down this rabbit hole of, like, looking up where you would even buy Twitch views, like Twitch botting and stuff. And we found this site. I can't even remember which one it was, and I don't really want to give it out anyway because I think it's kind of gross. But they're like, we can give you, like, hundreds of followers or whatever and blah, blah, blah for a week. And their pricing scheme, I realized, first of all, why people buy viewers, because it's stupid cheap. You can get like 100 followers for like a week for like 20-something bucks or something. Like, it's stupid cheap, and if like you do something good with it, you could actually like make that money back, weirdly enough. But the funny thing about this site is that they have like a support chat window. So you click on that support chat window, they even say, like, under their FAQ for how does this work, it's like, we can give you a demo, just talk to our support chat. So we, like, went to the support chat and said, can I get a demo? He's like, yeah. The support people are like, yeah, give me a link to any channel, and you'll see 100 people in there for 5 minutes or whatever. So we're like, alright. So we just found some random channels to do it to, and when he did it to some weird German guy who was playing American Truck Simulator or something like that. And that German guy jumped up from like 2 followers to like 102 or something. And then like he stopped playing the game after that and went offline for some reason. I don't know why. When I did it, I took down somebody's stream by accident. So I felt real bad about that because that guy seemed to be doing like a marathon or something. But, yeah, so it was really, really funny to just... It's like magic, man. You're playing with wild magic, and it blew up in my face.
Nice. That
being said, next time, like, one of my friends or something is playing a game, I'm totally gonna do it to them. Anyways...
It's also just part of like one of those dumb things about how Twitch works. Is like, that boosts people. That would actually work because it boosts people up in the ranking of streams for a game, and then people are more likely to click on it.
Yep. It actually, this is what we were talking about too, is that it doesn't work if like you only get like 1 or 2 people, because then it doesn't like the botting doesn't actually show names in the chat. It just shows viewers, like, watching.
Yeah.
So, it's like, if you have, like, 1 person in the chat or whatever, and if you click on the list, to list everybody in the chat room, you see, like, 3 names in there, but there's, like, 124 people watching. Like, you know something's up.
Yeah.
We decided that the, like, number where it starts working better is anything where you need to start scrolling through the chat list. Because a lot of people probably won't scroll. They'll just open the chat list, see it's full right away, and be like, oh, okay. So I was thinking around 50. If you have about 40 to 50 and up, you could probably get away with that.
It's so stupid.
But this is the thing, is that if you have 40
That's
or 50
how it works,
people,
yeah.
and you use this boost, you could easily get like 40 or 50 actual people in.
Yeah.
Which is gross. It's fucking gross. I hate how that works.
Yep.
But I'm totally gonna, like, maybe not Steven, but I'm gonna find somebody and just boost him one day and see what happens. I should just do it to somebody who wouldn't even appreciate it, like John. Just like when he's streaming, give him like 100 boosts, like it fucking matters.
And then nobody noticed.
Nobody noticed, exactly. Okay, this one's more recent, apparently, as in tonight. Apparently, GameTrailers.com is dead. Did you hear about this?
I saw, like, one thing on Twitter about it, like, right before we started.
Yeah. So
I know nothing other than that they're dead.
It sounds like, I can't remember if it was last year or just a few months ago, they were bought out by another company. And that company, like, did some layoffs or whatever, but they were still going. Apparently it was made official tonight that they're all laid off now. Like, GameTrailers.com is done. The, like, main editor dude and everything, they're all laid off. They're gone. So, that's...
I don't even know... Yeah, for me, I don't even know what content Game Trailers has been producing.
They do video reviews and stuff.
Video reviews?
Yeah. Yeah, no, they do actual, like... Basically everything you would find at, like, an IGN or something, they do, like, a video version of.
Okay.
Yeah, so they were very video-focused, and I think this is just one of the things that, like, YouTube became a reality, Adblock became a reality, people, like, finding other things to watch, Twitch became a reality, people watching, like, live things rather than pre-recorded, like... It's just one of those things where they couldn't keep it up anymore, and at first probably couldn't keep up the staff they had, and then it just dwindled down even further to just say, like, no, we can't take any more losses, so we gotta shut down. It's kind of too bad, but it's kind of the way the internet works. The same happened to OneUp.com, and, like, from those ashes and, like, other people being laid off in other places, we got, like, Polygon. Like, I'm sure the people that did well at Game Trailers will continue to do well in whatever they do.
Yeah.
And the people that didn't will go back to working at McDonald's. That's just the way fucking life goes, so whatever.
Yeah.
But I never really cared about Game Trailers too much, to be completely honest with you.
I mean, since I didn't even know the kind of content they produce, it's clearly neither did I.
Yeah.
I just feel like...
They worked with Mega 64 on some, like, exclusive stuff and whatnot. They've worked with people, but...
But I feel like the video content has gone so personality driven. I feel like it's always going to be... It's like a tough space for an entity like that. It's just a brand. It feels like that's a harder sell for people when they can go to specific human beings that they know and trust.
Right.
Which seems more useful even, so...
Like, even for me, I don't go to, like, GiantBomb.com for, like, Giant Bomb's reviews. I'll, like, read Jeff Gersman's Twitter or something.
Yeah.
Like,
exactly.
I'll even split up, like, a site full of people who I enjoy into an even narrower subsection of just one or two people.
Yeah.
So...
And that's always a thing with me. Like, if you have like a big site that does reviews, like that review doesn't mean anything unless you know who the person who's writing it is and like what their tastes are, what they think outside of this particular piece. Like the context for that stuff is important, and it's why like something like just these big conglomerate sites, they don't quite work for me. They've like just never quite worked because you kind of need to know who the writers are for that.
Depending on what they do. Kotaku works because it's literally just spitting out news. You don't need a personality when you're just giving information. So
but also, like the business. In those cases, they have to have like inflammatory enough news that everyone's going to share it and look at it. You can't just. It's all very specific.
Actually, you know what? Mr. Toy makes a good point, actually. Jim Sterling is the perfect, like, description of what this change is. Because for the longest time, like, people would look at Destructoid, right? And they'd be like, oh, I like Destructoid. I like most of the writers and stuff. And then Jim left, and now everybody follows Jim, and nobody cares about Destructoid anymore. Like, because people say, like, oh, I like this site. But when you say that, you really mean that I like 3 people from this cast of 20.
Yeah.
and they're working for this site.
It's like oh, I like GameStop.com, and then when Jeff got fired and everyone fucking left,
Yeah.
if you were still saying I like GameStop.com,
Yeah.
like you didn't notice. Like what? What even is that?
Yeah, exactly. So, it just sucks when people get laid off, though. Like, just straight up. That's what sucks.
Yeah,
It's not the fact that, like, Game Trailers is dead. It's that there are people now having to find a job to live. That's what sucks.
That definitely sucks.
Yeah. I didn't have any other talking points here. Did you want to talk about anything?
Besides my stuff, my movie stuff, not really.
Okay, let's do that right now.
Okay.
Let me bring up the list here, because you decided to talk about 30 movies instead of 10.
I did a top 30 I liked, and I did a top 10 I didn't like. And
I actually like the way you did the top 30. It's a little more concise, I think, of like what you liked about it, instead of having to like explain each thing. It's like, well, there's 30 here, so I don't have to be... I'm more broad as to why I like it. I like it better that way.
That I also, because I actually made videos for both of them too. So that was sort of the influential, whereas when I made the video for the worst list, and I was just using footage taken from the trailer, it was like, this would be much easier if I spoke for less long on each movie, and then I'll have just that footage of the trailer to deal with and cut up how I want.
You
So
made
that was part
videos of these?
Yeah.
Holy shit, how did I not click? Oh, I was on my mobile.
Oh.
I read everything on the site in mobile. I don't actually visit it on a desktop. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Weird.
It's just the script of the article. I just read it aloud and then put footage of the trailers over it. And then in the worst list, there are also some dumb visual gags because I went on too long. Like, I even got sick of how long I'd spent on these movies in making the video. But it was like, whatever. Particularly the Bridge of Spies one went on for a long time. It was like, uh-oh, I'm out of trailer footage. Here's footage from Castaway.
Yeah. Do you want to run down these from 30 to 1?
Sure.
Okay. What do we got? 30, Ant-Man.
Yeah, Ant-Man was okay.
Yeah.
It has really dumb product placement right at the front. It's super annoying. The fucking Baskin Robbins never always learns or whatever. That was super dumb. And that movie is like, it's still tied in too much to Marvel. If they just made it a fucking heist movie, it probably would have been better. But it was fun. It was cheery.
All right, you're 29.
Hitchcock Truffaut is a documentary about this particular interview that was like a week long between Alfred Hitchcock and Truffaut that was like breaking down Hitchcock's entire filmography, which was partly like part of a thing where in the French film criticism, Hitchcock was very well respected, and in America they just made fun of him all the time and they didn't respect him. And this was like a turning point to getting American film critics to take him seriously too. But like, the movie is just whatever to me. What I really liked is it let me learn about the actual interviews, in which there's a lot of audio that's on the internet to listen to.
Oh.
Which is weird because Truffaut's speaking in French through and it's done through a translator.
Okay.
Which is weird to listen to. But also he wrote a book. Like, there's this book that I bought and is really cool and has a lot of like specific breakdowns of Hitchcock's movies. And I'm a big Hitchcock fan, so that was just a really cool thing to see and learn about. And they go into like weird stuff about like the business of making movies too, like the amount of money that stuff was costing. It's just weird, interesting inside baseball stuff.
Cool. 28, Best of Enemies.
This is another documentary that it's about the debates on ABC between William F. Buckley and Gore Vidal in 1968. And the fucking TV footage of those debates is so fucking amazing that the movie is good. I mean, the movie is whatever, kind of besides that. It's just that footage is so fucking strong. Because that's like the time when like CBS, I think NBC were like the big news networks. And they were very trusted and very like procedural. And ABC was like, whatever, nobody watched it. But ABC got all these ratings because they had these two fucking assholes that fucking hated each other. They just, like, deep in their core, hated each other. So they were just like, their attitude in coming into this was to take the other one down and make them look like an idiot. Mm-hmm. And so it was very entertaining for people to watch. It wasn't like actual political debate, but it was the thing that became popular and so kind of changed how debate on TV and was talked about from then on. Like, there's so much about internet culture or current political stuff that was like shaped by these two people who just fucking hated each other in this one moment.
Nice.
And this one TV company struggling for ratings.
Cool.
Just weird.
27, Black Sea.
That's a submarine heist movie.
That sounds great.
It just takes these two things and puts them together, and it's just solid. It has one subplot I don't really like, and it's starring Jude Law, and he like carries the movie. But he's like he takes interest in this young kid who he brings on the mission, and that relationship is just like that shouldn't have. The movie would have been better if that hadn't been in there. It was unnecessary, but the movie's still cool and fun. I like it.
26, Project Almanac.
This is like it's kind of a it's knockoff Chronicle to a large extent. It's about
I kind of like Chronicle.
I like Chronicle. This is teenagers build a time machine, and then they start using it for lots of dumb reasons because they're idiot teenagers.
Of course.
So it's put out. It was put out by fucking Platinum Dunes, I think, Michael Bay's production company. So there's some terrible product. There's this one shot that's like slow mo of like stuff exploding, and then it's like zooms in on a can of Red Bull for like too long, and you're like, yeah, this is a Platinum Dunes movie.
Nice.
But overall, like, it's just it was really appealing seeing kids using time travel for super dumb reasons.
I'm into it.
Like, it was just fun.
20...
And it was like a movie that it just stuck with me all year. Like, I just kept going back to it.
That sounds like I kind of want to check this out. That the last two sound the most interesting to me so far, honestly.
Fair enough.
Yeah. 25, Run All Night.
This is a Liam Neeson movie.
Nice.
Like, as much it's Liam Neeson doing the thing he's been doing since he started the Taken movies, but the movies that aren't the Taken movies are the ones I kind of prefer because he's a piece of shit in all of them, and the movies don't like try to lionize him. Like, he's just a garbage human being in this movie, but he's also a fucking total badass. And was like a hitman for the mob. The weird thing about this movie is its plot is similar to John Wick in a lot of ways, except not like the straightforward, like, hilarious kind of John Wick. It's much more like a serious drama, which isn't better. It's just a weird fact about the movie.
Are you looking forward to John Wick 2, just as a quick aside?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I fucking love John Wick, dude.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
People that don't know what they're talking about.
No,
it's so good.
Fun. So the thing with Run All Night isn't higher just because it's much more of like a drama than it is an action movie.
Okay.
But there are scenes between Liam Neeson and the villain Ed Harris, and they were like best. There was like Ed Harris was like Liam Neeson's only friend in the world before what happens in this movie, where Ed Harris's kid breaks into Liam Neeson's kid's house and is about to kill him before Liam Neeson shoots him. Mm-hmm. So now Ed Harris just wants to kill Liam Neeson because he killed his son.
Sure.
So, like, and the scenes where they talk to each other are actually just fucking great. With those two actors playing off each other. And the movie itself overall is just okay. But those scenes are really fucking good.
Ed Harris can, like, talk to anybody in a movie and just, like, be perfect in whatever role he's in.
He's really good.
That dude is real good at talking at people.
Yeah.
Yeah. This one's a little interesting to me because I'm pretty sure you hated it, but maybe I'm thinking of the wrong person. 24 was Jupiter Ascending.
No, I didn't hate this movie. I like this movie.
Somebody I know hated this movie. I never saw it, but
so I'm a weird person where this is the Wachowski siblings movie.
Yeah.
And I kind of like all their movies.
Okay.
Like, even for all their flaws, there's parts of the second and third Matrix movies I like. Particularly the third one. Sure. I also just fucking love Speed Racer.
Speed Racer is actually amazing.
Great. That's a great movie.
Yeah.
So, and I really liked Cloud Atlas too.
I never saw that one.
That one's fucking weird. That's like 5 different movies.
Cool.
It's weird. But this one is this movie is really fucking dumb. This is dumb this is also like the budget on this movie was fucking insane. Like, I don't understand how the Wachowskis keep getting such huge budgets to make movies that then flop. But like, they've been doing it since Speed Racer.
Because they made Matrix.
Yeah, but the Speed Racer, Cloud Atlas, and Jupiter Ascending are all flops.
That's too bad. Specifically for Speed Racer.
Yeah, Speed Racer was a bad flop. Because that one they also made, like, they were going to sell a ton of merchandise and stuff, and I don't think any of it sold.
That was the first movie that I was like, I need this on Blu-ray.
Yeah.
Like,
that movie looks so fucking good.
Yeah, it does.
So this movie is real fucking dumb, but it's just like, you can just see that, like, they spent their budget on the screen in terms of giant special effects stuff, and just like, I don't know. I just thought it was dumb and fun.
Okay.
There's a scene where someone literally says the line, "Bees don't lie."
Right.
Because, like, one of the identifying characteristics for that Mila Kunis has secretly been royalty, it's like space royalty, is that, like, bees, like, start flying to her and, like, fly around her and, like, obey her. Bees, they recognize loyalty.
Right.
Bees don't lie.
Right.
It's really fucking stupid. But,
sounds great.
I liked it. I enjoyed it.
23 is the end of the tour.
Yes. This one is, like, it was basically, it's a single conversation movie. It's like an interview.
Okay.
Between, I forget the writer he was new at Rolling Stone at the time, and the author David Foster Wallace, who had just written The Incredible Jest, I think, was the book he wrote.
Okay.
My problem with I just like this movie as it's a conversation between two people, and it's sort of about the baggage that they bring to that conversation, and about interviewing in terms of, like, two writers and their different, like, points of view in terms of how they're talking to each other, where they are in their lives at the time. I think all that the thought the actors had to put into what their characters were doing at the time is all interesting to me, and I liked all that. The movie is totally warped because David Foster Wallace, years after the interview that the movie's about, went on to kill himself, and that, like, changes the whole nature of the proceedings, and I'm not that into it. That's why this movie isn't higher. Right. But I like movies about conversations, and I thought there was a lot of interesting wrinkles to this one.
Huh. Cool.
There's also, I could see a world where I watched this movie and found it insufferable, but it was not when I watched it, so.
Cool. 22, The Salvation.
This is just a Western.
Okay.
Like a dude, it's starring, Michael Mads, whatever, the guy who played the villain in Casino Royale.
Okay.
And it starts with he's been out in the West for a long time. I forget where he's from. He's from a different country, but his family comes over, like his wife and daughter, I think, and they get in like a carriage, and then these two fucking outlaws get in there and they throw Michael Mads out of the carriage, and they, like, rape and murder his wife, daughter, so he goes up and kills them. So it's like, it has that revenge plot right out the front of a classic Western, but he gets his revenge super early, and then the movie is like, the plot of the movie is the guys he killed, one of them was the brother of, like, the gangster who's, like, controls this local town, and then that guy wants to kill Michael Mads as revenge for killing his brother. So it's actually like the villain's revenge that drives most of the plot.
Weird. Okay.
It's interesting. It was just a solid Western.
Cool. 21 was White God.
This is the movie where the dog revolution happens.
Dog Sparta.
Yeah. Oh my god. Too much of the movie is focused on this fucking teenage girl and her teenage girl problems, and it's just not that interesting. Right. And at the same time, it's like weird Homeward Bound happening on the other side of the dog, like going through the dog world and getting taught about the watering holes by this stray dog. Which is weird. But then the dog starts murdering people and releases all the dogs, and they start systematically murdering everyone who was mean to him in the first half of the movie, in the Homeward Bound part. Like, they're slasher villains, they just procedurally go out and kill all of them.
I'm okay with that.
It's fucking incredible. Like, the high of that fucking turning point of that movie is just amazing. It's fucking weird. Too much of the movie is just not interesting enough for me to put it any higher than this, but yeah, that turning point was real good.
Number 20 is What We Do in the Shadows.
It's a comedy about vampires from the makers of the Flight of the Conchords TV show.
Yep.
It's that kind of humor.
Okay.
That's basically all there is to say
So
about
kind
it.
of just like absurd, silly.
Yeah.
Nice. With vampires.
Yes, and they're all idiots. Like, and the conceit is there's a documentary crew they've brought in to film all of them, but then they're also like complaining about not letting people know that they're vampires, and then someone's like, "But you have a film crew filming you. What?" But they're just idiots. Like, they don't put two and two together. It's just weird. And then there are parts where there's just lots of blood because they're fucking vampires.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Number 19 is Dope.
Dope is about it's like about these kids who are like living in today's world, but they're like 90s hip hop nerds.
Yeah.
And they're in like a punk band, and they live in underprivileged neighborhood, poor neighborhood, and they're all kind of poor, but they're very smart too. And they get sort of embroiled in this. They go to this drug dealer's party for various reasons, and then it gets raided, and they end up with this backpack full of drugs, and it's sort of the fallout from that, and how they end up having to deal with that, and how fucking the whole system is fucking corrupt, and it's just interesting. It's funny. There's like a lot of ridiculous shit that happens in the movie. Like, this woman takes drugs and then goes fucking out of her mind and starts shitting or peeing in a bush in public. Like, it just goes fucking weird.
Great.
It's a movie I had a little overhyped for me. I didn't quite like it as much as people who had told me it was really good, but it's funny.
Cool.
It's a little too on the nose about its message, and its main character is a little too fucking amazing and perfect, but it was okay. It was funny. I mean, there are also scenes of him fucking masturbating to put things on his phone, so it cuts the difference a bit.
Weird. Sure. Why
Yeah.
not? 18 is Kingsman.
Yeah.
That movie's fun.
Yeah, that movie is fun. It has that one fucking action scene in this
Yeah.
church that's real fucking good. Holy shit.
The way they shot that is actually amazing.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
to me, that scene is so good. It's like, why isn't anything in the rest of this movie nearly as good?
How is that, like,
action-wise?
not the end?
I know! It's like this fucking one random scene.
It's so
And
good, though.
It also does a little too much, like, pointing at movie cliches, but then is still full of movie cliches. Like, the movie is Men in Black. Like, the script is Men in Black, and then some minor differences, but
Oh,
it's-
man. The
that one action
perspectives
scene is so
in that,
fucking good.
it's
And the
so
music.
good.
Fuck.
It's so fucking good. There has to be a YouTube video of just that scene, right? I'm sure there is. Because
I
why
mean,
wouldn't there be?
Because copyright bullshit, and it had a song in it, so probably not,
Yeah,
actually.
Freebird. Oh,
Has
man.
Freebird in it, so it probably isn't on YouTube. I don't know.
I do like the feel of that whole movie, though.
Yeah, I liked it.
Fun atmosphere. 17 is Inside Out. I still haven't seen this.
It's pretty good. It's a Pixar movie. It relies on, like, emotionally affecting you, but it's, like, effective at it.
Okay.
There's cool stuff in it and how they play it with the idea of, like, emotions within you being, like, physically embodiment, and then, like, the way your memories work and stuff. There's just a bunch of good gags. There's, like, gags of, like, how fucking small pre-pubescent teenagers can go fucking crazy, and how things affect their minds and stuff, and how, like, just the idea of, like, there's stuff that you just forget about and move on from,
Right.
like the sort of tragedy of that. It's like hitting a bunch of notes that Pixar movies have hit before, but it works. I liked it.
Cool.
It's got a lot of cool. It also just visually looks really cool and has a lot of like inventive ways it's using visuals, which is something I hadn't gotten from Pixar movies in a while. Like Monsters University doesn't look visually interesting at all to me. Braid didn't look visually interesting. Cars 2 didn't look visually interesting. This looked visually interesting.
Yeah, I can agree to that. 16 is Cop Car.
Oh, Cop Car. Like, Cop Car was a movie I knew I was going to like right off the bat, because the first scene is like two kids walking through an empty field, and they're like practicing cursing. One kid is saying a curse, and then the other kid's repeating it, because they've like run away from home. So now that they're free, they have to learn how to curse properly.
Okay.
And then they stumble upon a cop car, and it's like, it goes from like they're like terrified of it, they're like sneaking around, to eventually they fucking steal it and drive away with it, and there's good build up there. And then it turns out the cop car belonged to Kevin Bacon, and he had pulled out like a dead body from the trunk and buried it somewhere, and then was coming back to it, and there was another body still in the trunk, and he's real fucking mad, and he really wants to get that car back, and then it turns out the dude in the trunk isn't dead, and he's real mad.
Oh man.
And it's real bloody and violent, but also has like that weird child sense of wonder, because it's about these kids.
Like a Goonies or something?
Yeah, like it's got that, but it's also a fucking hard R violent movie with shooting, so it's just fucking weird, and I like that combo.
Jesus.
It's like, this appeals to me.
Sure.
It's not a widely marketable movie, but whatever. I like it.
Number 15 is Peace Officer.
This is a documentary. Highest documentary on the list. That's about the sheriff who's in Utah, who was very instrumental in getting like the SWAT program in his state instituted. And then years later, when he was retired, that same SWAT system was responsible for shooting his son-in-law, who had only ever pointed a gun at himself. And there's like footage of that whole scene that's fucking ridiculous, of like the over response to that guy having a gun to his head sitting in a car, where they're like driving trucks onto lawns and like throwing tear gas after tear gas. And then from there, it goes on to talk about several other incidents that Dub Lawrence then like goes to the crime scene. So one of the things about these scenes where it involved cops maybe not doing what they should have been doing is they just left evidence around. Like, they didn't clean up the crime scene as well as they should have. Right. So Dub Lawrence is going to these places and like finding all this evidence and like using his skills as a detective to like break down what happened here in a much thorougher way than the actual investigations did. So there's this like real scene of this one thing where these undercover cops had broken into this dude's house because they suspected he was growing marijuana, which he was. Okay. But he was like a former Marine, and he opened fire on them because they were strangers in his house, and he had no fucking idea who they are. And like over 100 bullets were fired. So he goes in and catalogs like where every shot came from and where it went. Like those strings that are in the photo I used are actual strings where bullets went.
Good lord. Okay.
But he finds like how many more bullets the cops shot than the dude. He finds out, oh, here's where one of the cops shot one of the other cops.
That's
because
fucked up.
Of the angle, how it worked, and like, oh, we know the bullet went in here, and it should be out over here. So let's dig a hole in here. Oh, here's that bullet. Oh, and it's deformed the way it would be if it struck bone.
Oh man,
fuck.
That's fucked up.
So like, what makes the movie is like this dude his investigating skills are fucking on point, and he's a very good speaker in terms of explaining this stuff. So it was yeah, that's a good movie.
14 is It Follows.
Yeah, It Follows is just a pretty solid horror movie. It's a pretty solid horror movie.
It's interesting the way it does, yeah.
Yeah. It breaks its own rules a couple times, and I don't think the climax is that great, but
I agree.
That scene at the pool is like lame.
Yeah,
but it does enough other stuff in terms of how it holds tension overall.
There is one part in that which is like the most genuine, disgustingly like scary part I've seen in a movie. I hated it. Holy fucked it. Like the tall man or whatever.
That's really good. That was really good.
That actually got me so bad.
Yeah.
It's not a jump scare or anything. It's genuine just terrifying.
Yeah. It was really good.
Yeah. That's what I can even recommend people should probably see if you like horror.
Yeah, it's got enough. It's got enough that works about it.
Yeah. It is a little slow feeling in parts, though. I gotta give that warning.
It definitely is. It's definitely got a lot of scenes of characters just sitting around, being chill.
Yeah. I'm actually interested in this one. I haven't seen it yet. 13 is Creed.
Creed.
I hear it's great.
It's great.
Yeah.
Like what separates it is like the director is really fucking good. Like this is he directed the film, which also starred the star of this movie, Michael B. Jordan, directed Fruitvale Station.
Okay.
Which was about which was like a dramatization of an actual shooting of a black guy by police officers. It's one of those incidents.
Sure.
But Creed is just really good, and it's like those guys just had this idea for a new Rocky movie starring the son of Apollo Creed, and they just pestered Sylvester Stallone until he agreed to make it with them.
Because he doesn't really have to be in it, right? Like, it's not based on him, so...
Yeah.
He can just be, like... He's the trainer, right?
He's the new Mickey. Yeah. He, goes into the Mickey role.
Yeah.
It's
That's
appropriate.
the right progression.
It was really good to see Stallone, get enough fucking humility to, allow himself to be the Mickey instead of, what he'd been doing with the shitty Expendables movies.
Does he chew up any scene he's in, though?
They give him his moment.
Okay. Yeah, okay.
They give him his moment.
He's not missing out, then.
I mean, that's why he got nominated for a fucking Academy Award. Also because the Academy Awards are fucking racists. They nominated Steven Stallone and no one else from this movie.
That's fucked up.
It's fucked up.
That's bullshit.
That's in terms of the racism thing, the most clear example is that only Stallone got nominated for Creed when the director and the main actor are both great and they're both black.
Fucking white
and they're
people.
The reason this movie exists and the reason it's great. So the other thing with this movie is the fucking on-screen boxing and the climax is really fucking good. They shot it much better, because that's a big thing with the Rocky movies, where sometimes they're just edited to hell in terms of the boxing and it just doesn't look like anything. Rocky 4 is really bad in terms of the editing on the fight just doesn't work. So the boxing is really cool. It just got a good progression. It's very much just here's the script to Rocky again with a different character. It's a remake that isn't a remake, but it's really good. It's just really well made.
Cool.
And if you're much more into Rocky than I am, I could see people even liking it more than I do.
Cool.
Because it's one of those things where you compare this, it's similar to the Star Wars thing. It's just Star Wars matters to me more than Rocky. But
okay.
if Rocky was what mattered to you, you could really like this movie.
Sure.
A lot more than I do even. And it's really good.
12 is The Martian.
Martian is just fun. And it's it's a space movie that's fun and not pretentious at all. And not
That's real hard.
It's real fucking hard, because so many of space movies are so tied to trying to be 2001 or living in its shadow. This one is much more similar to Apollo 13 in terms of a lot of it is just this dude is just doing his job, but it's also just fun and funny because his way of dealing with stress is humor in a lot of ways. This character Matt Damon's playing, and he's just so completely fucked. It's all you can do is laugh, but also he's very capable. This is what he loves doing, is figuring shit out. Yeah. So his life is in danger, but he's also fucking in his element. He's completely in his element and just having a ton of fun.
Huh.
There's a scene where they're trying to convince him to launch himself into space in the ricketiest fucking piece of shit. So they tell him he'll be the fastest man traveling ever. It's Who would say that? That's not. Scientists won't use the word fast when they're talking about speed and acceleration. That's not what they do. They just told me that because they'll think I think it sounds good. It does sound good. I like the sound of that. It's just fun. Like the part of it that's not higher is there are scenes back on NASA which are so dumb that I like can't even deal. Where they have Chris, whatever, Crispin Glover, Danny Glover, Childish Gambino dude, like explaining science to people with a stapler. It's like walking around a room, and it's just so stupid. Like, there's a scene in NASA where they're like, "Oh man, we need to get a map of Mars." But it's NASA, so clearly we don't have a map of Mars. We have to go to the cafeteria and take a picture off the wall and draw on it. And that's our Mars. Like, what is this? Why? What? It's so stupid, but the movie is just so fun that I can look past it. It's only if you're like looking at it as like a comedy or it's very much an adventure movie. It's got a lot of the part of Search for Spock that I actually like in it, where like there's a crew of the ship he's on like decide to disobey orders and go back on their own. Like, it's got like that kind of like that scenes of Search for Spock of them getting the team together kind of stuff,
right?
That I like, but it's much more fun than that movie even is. So it's just cool.
Cool.
Just like ridiculous shit happening.
See, to me, everything I've seen about it, like trailers and stuff, made it look like it was a self-serious, just like abortion of another fucking space movie.
It's not that at all.
Good.
Not self-serious.
I'm so sick of self-serious. Like, Interstellar was like fucking jerk off.
No, Interstellar. I mean, Interstellar is a well-made movie, and I think it might be a better made movie than The Martian. I much prefer The Martian because it was so much fun.
Sure.
Like, I like The Martian more.
Sure. Interstellar needs more audio mixing talent behind it. The audio is fucking terrible in that piece of shit.
That's true.
11 is Mission Impossible Rogue Nation. I'm so excited to see that on here because I really want to see that movie.
Oh, I really like that movie.
I hear it's great.
Rebecca Ferguson is really fucking good, and they give her stuff to do.
That sounds great.
Yeah.
How's Tom Cruise?
Tom Cruise is Tom Cruise, man.
Yeah, okay. I like Tom Cruise.
Yeah.
I think like he's batshit insane, but the dude makes good movies, so whatever.
Yeah, and like he looks he's damn fucking fit for how fucking old he is.
He's real old. Yeah. All right.
There's like a scene where he has to hold his breath for a really long time, and like you feel it.
That sounds terrible.
It's fucking.
I don't want to feel that. I'm a smoker. I know what it feels like to lose your breath.
But Rebecca Ferguson gets to have a knife fight.
That sounds great.
Good. Oh, fucking good.
Are you ready for the top 10?
Yeah.
All right. What's your number 10?
My number 10 is Star Wars Episode 7, The Force Awakens.
Of course it is. I'm actually surprised this isn't higher.
I mean, it has... Dude, that movie is flawed up the ass.
It's even higher on... Like, if I were to make a list, it would be higher. But I haven't seen as much, so...
Yeah. For me, what gets over all its dumb flaws, and, like, the way it's so much just A New Hope again, and, like, the way that spoiled my viewing experience, and that I knew everything that was gonna fucking happen before it happened.
Mm-hmm.
I just like this movie's sense of, like, enthusiasm for stuff. Okay. Like, just that the characters are so fucking excited and into what's happening. Like, my biggest problem with blockbuster movies has been how fucking dour they are.
Sure.
And, like, blockbusters that are just, like, fun is just such a breath of fresh air. So it gets a lot of points off for that. And I just like these characters. Like, I'm just interested in seeing further adventures of Rey and Finn.
I agree.
And fucking excited. And I just like Kylo Ren as a villain. I just think that's a unique spin on a fucking bad guy of this petulant child who's such an angry teenager.
I actually agree with you.
Yeah.
To the point where I didn't want to see the old people. Because I'm more, like, I'm not interested in what Han Solo's doing. I'm interested in these kids. They're the new generation.
And I'm excited to see more about them.
Agreed.
Like they could, and if they fuck up the next one, I might not like this movie as much as I do right now. But until that happens, I really like this thing.
Right.
Awesome.
What's your number 9?
A Hard Day.
Okay.
It's kind of like, it's not worth going into the plot too much because it's one of those movies where it's just one thing after another fucking happens to this guy and it all goes bad for him, like one after another. Like I described it as a game of Jenga. It's just like one fucking piece is stacked on another thing and just fucking driving him crazy. He ends up hitting a dude with his car and then hides the body in the casket of his dead mother.
Yeah.
It's just fucking insane shit. And it's just got good action. It's just pretty fucking good tension throughout the whole thing. It's just a fucking thrill ride.
Fair enough. 8.
Chirac, which is Spike Lee's new movie that's based on the Aristophanes play, The Lystrata, in which the women of Greece, to end the Peloponnesian War, decided to withhold sex.
Sure.
So it's like an outrageous comedy. It's the thing with Chirac, it's like an outrageous comedy that's also trying to hit like really serious real world issues, but it's sort of its point is those real world issues are so fucking, there's so many of them and they're so intermingled and it's so much. It's just like pressure that's crushing, about the pressure that's just all closing in on all sides on poor black communities. Mm-hmm. So the only way it can deal with that is just the emotions all the way to 11 and going ridiculous with it, where there are like musical dance numbers in terms of like the women take over the armory and then the army starts trying to play slow jams to make them horny, and then there's a dance number.
Slow jams.
It's just ridiculous, but also like dealing with serious issues in a way I appreciate, in terms of like, this stuff's hard to talk about and it's really hard to make an entertaining movie about it. So we're just gonna fucking go for it on every level. Also, Dave Chappelle is in this movie, and he's an amazing scene talking about how there are no strippers at his strip club.
Nice.
It's another weird thing about the movie is that most of it is done in rhyming couplets, which is
weird.
Fucking hard to act and do that, and it's really impressive that all the actors pretty much do a good job.
Cool. That actually, you sold me on it, actually, because I didn't even know what the fuck this was. That sounds real good.
It's also the first movie from Amazon, which is a weird thing.
Weird.
They're the ones that paid Spike Lee the money to make this thing.
They're the producers of it?
Yeah, they're the studio behind it.
Oh, wow. Alright.
They're getting into movies.
Alright.
It's a thing.
What's your number 7?
Office.
Oh yeah, I love The Office. Jim and Pam getting together.
Nope.
Movie's dope.
God, I wish this movie had not taken the most generic fucking title it could have that already belonged to a TV property.
I bet it's impossible to like find anything on this when you Google it.
It's so fucking hard. Like I have to like copy the actual characters of the Chinese title. There's a list on IMDb of all the alternate titles it has, because its title doesn't translate to Office. I don't know why the fuck they just named it Office.
What does it translate to?
I don't even remember, honestly.
Place of work.
No. I'd look it up, but it would take me a while.
All right.
It's on IMDb somewhere, the actual titles. So this is a musical it's a Chinese musical about the effects of the stock market, of the housing market crash on the Chinese stock market. And like all the characters work at this stock trading place. And it's a really good musical. It uses this set is this giant wireframe thing that allows the movie to like happen like it's a stage musical, but because there aren't like walls to a large extent, like the camera can like move around so it still looks like a movie. It's just very technically impressive in terms of how they shot it and made it still feel like a movie while still having a lot of that sense of space that you get on a stage play, because this was originally a stage musical. So I just find it impressive for that thing, and I just really like the songs, and like the story is like sweet and interesting in a bunch of ways. Like it's also about how people try to have personal relationships in a workplace that's very impersonal, and the way people can relate to each other or fail to relate to each other. Huh. Like the characters are very sort of surface level, but they're played off each other in very interesting ways. And there's just like different character setups. It's just cool. I just fucking liked it, and I really liked the music. It was a fucking pain in the ass for me to track down the music to listen to on my own, but I fucking did it.
Fair enough. 6.
6 is Phoenix, which is...
I remember you talking about this.
Yeah, it's the drama about the woman was in a concentration camp, and her face was completely ruined, so she now has a new face, and then tracks down her husband, who may or may not have turned her into the Nazis. And then he thinks she's just some random girl, so he enlists her in a plan to pretend that she is his dead wife, so that he can get his dead wife's inheritance money.
Right.
And the final scene has some of the fucking best fucking facial acting I've ever seen in a movie, and it's just one of the best scenes I've ever seen.
Wow.
Like the final scene, this movie ends perfectly. It's really fucking impressive.
Cool.
Yeah.
That sounds like one you don't want to spoil.
Yeah, other than that, it's just a really good thriller.
Cool.
But, thriller is kind of the wrong word. Like, just tense drama. But that last scene is fucking great.
Cool. Number 5.
Number 5 is Anomalisa, which is the new Charlie Kaufman movie.
Oh, great. Okay.
So this one was also based on a play, but so it's about a guy who every other person in the world, to him, has the same face and speaks with the same voice.
Okay.
So that's the gimmick of why this movie is also done with stop motion puppets, like very high quality ones that sort of look like real life. Like if you just looked at the movie out of the corner of your eye, it would look like reality. But then there are certain things they keep in place to make you know that they're puppets. Like they all have specific lines around their face so that you can see where that piece would be taken off.
Huh. Okay.
So then he writes books for like motivational books for companies. He's doing a public speaking thing. And then he's like, so it's basically him. It's about his like midlife crisis and how he's fucked up. But then he meets this woman who has a face that's different and has a different actress playing her, and she has a voice. It's Jennifer Jason Leigh, and then it's like their romance, and it leads to a climactic scene of them having sex that is one of the best sex scenes I've ever seen in a movie, in terms of it being intimate and awkward.
Okay. And
like allowing like consistent camera shots in ways you wouldn't be able to do if you're having to mask certain things for even an R-rated movie.
Sure. Like,
it was just fucking kind of incredible.
Huh. Okay.
But it's also puppet stuff. It's just it was a good stop motion movie, and it's very much a midlife crisis movie about that character, which has been a lot of Charlie Kaufman's work, is basically around that. So I really liked it.
Cool. You didn't like it as much as your number 4.
No.
Which
Yakuza Apocalypse.
You could talk about this quite a bit.
Yo, this movie was so much fun. I watched it I didn't get to watch it till 2016 because I was just busy on the days it was showing.
Sure.
This movie is so much fun. This movie is so goddamn dumb, but it's so goddamn fun. Oh my god. Like, so the other thing is the director is like, has a whole long storied career behind him of making serious gangster dramas. So there are parts of this movie where it's playing it straight and it's just like a normal Yakuza movie, and that's all credible, which makes it that much fucking weirder when the movie goes off the fucking rails to get really fucking weird with zombies. I mean, with vampires, and this dude actually dressed up like a kappa. And there's this weird dude who speaks English who has like one of those like neck things. And then he has this bolt lightning gun. And then there's that dude from the raid is in it, and he's dressed up like a stereotypical nerd, but he's really good at fighting.
Sweet.
It's just, and then there's a dude in a frog suit who's the greatest terrorist in the world.
Right.
The movie's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. Also, so the thing with the Yakuza vampire is when you get bit by a Yakuza vampire, you turn into a vampire, but you also take on the personality of a Yakuza gangster. No
matter who you are.
Yeah. So they're like scenes of all these people who've been transformed, and they're like sitting in a room gambling. And it's like about how this is like the Yakuza apocalypse, because the Yakuza actually need normal citizens in order to like survive and feed off of. But now that everyone's becoming a Yakuza, then they're obsolete.
Sounds ridiculous.
It's got really good like dumb special effects, and it's ridiculous.
Yep.
There is a fight where just two people punch each other in the face, like they just line up and then they punch each other in the face as hard as they can, and then they line up again, just punch each other in the face again. Ugh. It's so dumb good. That movie goes all the fucking way.
That sounds interesting. Jesus Christ. Alright, I'm just gonna read on here. Oh, okay. So we're at your top 3.
Yes.
Best movies of 2015. What's your number 3?
Mad Max Fury Road.
That movie's fucking great.
Really like that movie.
Yeah.
I like how they built all those fucking cars and that they were real.
Yep.
I like and how they used their CG effect budget just to do things they couldn't capture and to affect the color so that the movie just fucking looks amazing.
Yep.
I love the fucking action. I like how it's basically a story reset in terms of just a new Mad Max, like the world, but it also feels like a progression from the old Mad Max movies in terms of how the world is more fucked up than it even was in those movies, in terms of like just the idea of not running away off into the desert, which is what they do at the end of Beyond Thunderdome, but the idea of going back.
Yeah.
It just feels like progress. Like it feels like a fourth movie in a franchise that's still pushing forward, and just it's got impressive action that isn't on par with stuff I've seen before in movies. It's like the iterative process of action getting better, and like the commitment to using CG as just a tool rather than the fucking be all and end all that it has been for a lot of years. It's just fucking good, man. It like barely has a script and it doesn't matter.
Yeah. Yeah, that movie's real fucking good. The game is okay, too. Number 2.
The Hateful Eight. Quentin Tarantino's new movie.
Yeah.
I just really fucking like Quentin Tarantino as a movie maker. Like, he's a really good director, and I like his script writing. And this is a kind of movie I really like, in that it's a chamber piece, which it all takes place in one location, and a lot of it is about how characters are bouncing off each other, and their attitudes about each other are changing based on the information they're learning about each other. It's also interesting because the movie is very much it's about hate, but it's also like about the hate in a post-Civil War United States. Like a lot of it is tied up in race stuff in terms of how people are reacting to Samuel L. Jackson's character, even if it's favorably or negatively, like the reasons behind that stuff. It's all played in there. It's really fucking good. I really like it. There's some good like over the top violence. It's just, yeah, I like it. It looks really good in terms of shots stuff.
Okay. But it's not as good as your top movie of the year.
Bone Tomahawk. And I think Bone Tomahawk is the best written movie of the year. Is for me the big thing.
Okay.
Yes, as much as I like,
You do talk about this movie quite a bit, or have,
yeah,
I should say.
a big part of for me, the part of Hateful Eight, there's a thing in it of Kurt Russell's character is like, in a lot of ways, the stereotypical heroic figure of like a Western.
Yeah.
But Hateful Eight makes sure to know that he's kind of an asshole and he's kind of a piece of shit.
Yeah.
And it's like sort of in a similar way to he did in Inglourious Basterds with Brad Pitt's character. It's like a takedown of the traditional Western hero.
Okay.
Whereas sometimes I just want movies about heroes.
Right.
And that's what Bone Tomahawk is like. Guys, people, the deputy and this dude's wife get kidnapped by cannibalistic troglodytes because these criminal guys disturbed their burial ground was the reason they were out there. And now we have to just get up a posse and ride out and save them. And it's just there's also very funny in terms of a lot of dialogue scenes that are really good. Once it gets to the cannibalistic troglodytes, it goes horror, like fully in a way that's like amazing and fucking horrifying.
Huh.
When there's a scene of a man literally being ripped apart in half while he's alive. So it's got that going for it. And I just like seeing a story about an underdog hero overcoming the odds. And it gives Kurt Russell like an opportunity to just be the Kurt Russell hero kind of figure. Even though he isn't like the hero of the movie, he still gets good scenes in terms of just being cool. So I just liked it. I just liked it a lot.
Cool. Sounds good.
Yeah.
I do like that you liked 30 things.
Yeah.
And were able to list them.
There were other movies I liked.
That didn't even make this, you mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. Like, I enjoyed Jurassic World okay. That movie
Was
is...
that 2015?
Yeah.
Holy shit. Okay. That feels real old. That movie was okay.
That movie was okay. It's real fucking dumb, but it was okay.
Yeah.
I can just list off some other movies that didn't make the list.
Sure.
Spectre, I thought was okay.
I heard that shit.
It was okay.
Okay.
It has its moments. It's probably too long. Pay the Ghost was real fucking dumb. The Nicolas Cage Ghost movie. Yeah. That was real fucking dumb. That movie was real fucking dumb. But it had some good Nick Cage in it. I like Shaun the Sheep okay. That was an okay kids movie. That was stop motion. And like the Wallace and Gromit kind of stuff. I saw Joy. Joy was alright.
I actually saw Joy too.
Joy was okay.
I'm just like obsessed with that actress, so I see whatever she's in. I didn't care for the movie too much, but yeah, it was okay.
Yeah, it gave her an excuse to be in a movie and do her thing.
Yeah.
I saw Hunger Games Mockingjay Part 2.
Oh, I still haven't seen that. I still need to.
So that's a movie which just that I like her. It like makes that movie okay. If she weren't in it, that movie would be garbage.
I still need to see part 1. So I need to see both of them back to back.
Fair enough.
It's a little more daunting for me.
And that's totally one of those like action movies that's just fucking grim. And it's like no fun.
Yeah.
I liked Pixar's other movie, The Good Dinosaur okay. That was an okay movie.
I don't even know what the fuck that is. Oh, I remember you talking about this, and I said the exact same thing back then. I have no fucking idea what it is.
The Good Dinosaur, it's basically a Western about a world where the meteor never hit the world and dinosaurs are still the dominant form on their planet, and now they're farmers.
Okay.
And then, the kid's dad dies in a big storm, and then he befriends this human kid, this feral human kid who's been eating their food, and they go on an adventure to try and get back home.
Of course.
Like that one tried to hit the emotional notes and just didn't work for me, kind of. I was just like, oh, yeah, you killed his dad. Boo fucking who. Fuck you.
Yeah.
Fuck you for trying to make me feel like it didn't work that time for me. And it's just a weird thing of like the dinosaurs are like classic like as simple Brontosaurus type kid drawing stuff, but then the world is really fucking realistic looking, and like this is the best fucking water that's ever been in a CG movie, kind of. Like there are a lot of technical things about how realistic the world looks, but then all the dinosaurs are super cartoonish looking. It's just a weird choice that didn't quite work for me.
Sure.
I know it worked for some people, but not me. It just felt a little. It didn't hit. It didn't quite hit the way Inside Out did.
Sure.
But it was okay.
Sure.
I saw that Dragon Ball Z movie. That was okay.
The one that like nobody could see because like the few theaters that were playing it were sold out the night it came out. Yeah.
Yeah, that movie, they did a limited screening, and it actually did surprisingly, like, really well per screen because of that. Like, people showed up for that thing.
That's weird.
It's weird.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then there are other movies, like the Avengers movie.
Sure.
It was just
Wait,
dipped
that was
in my
last year?
Yeah.
Fuck.
That movie dipped in my opinion, like, a lot since I saw it. It just kept going down. But that movie's just a bummer. Like,
Yeah.
I want the Avenger movies to be these events that are just fun and actiony, and it was like setting up shit for other movies, and
It's so lame. Because Ultron is like the thing you set up for. One of the things you set up for.
Yep.
Ultron can be huge.
one of my
That could've
favorite
been.
Avengers comics is an Ultron story.
Yeah. Oh well.
And there was like Terminator Genesis and Maze Runner: The Scorch Trials, and
Woo!
American Ultra was okay. You would hate it.
Yeah, probably. Wait, why?
It's Topher Grace. Topher Grace is in it. He's the villain.
So, funny story. We've been watching a lot of That 70s Show here. I actually, like, still really hate him. Probably even more now. But,
Nice.
that show, like, was never funny. That is not a funny show. I mean, it's had its moments. But the moments have never been from one of the, like, main cast. It's always been from, like, one of the parents, basically.
Dad. Dad, I think is the best.
Red?
Yeah.
Yeah, Red's pretty good. Kitty's pretty good, too, with it just being passive-aggressive, like mom who's trying to put on a happy face all the time.
Yeah.
Like, I think she's the one that always gets me. Just the passive-aggressiveness and then, like, a fake laugh after is, like, perfect comedy.
Nice.
Yeah. But it made me remember, like, how hot Laura Prepon, or whatever her name was. I forgot that she existed. Apparently she's in, like, a new show or something. She's in, like, that Orange is the New Black or some shit.
Yes, she's in Orange is the New Black. That show's okay.
Okay. She doesn't look she's the same, like, at all anymore. Like, she definitely grew up and, like, looks like a different person now, but that's fine. Whatever. But, yeah. Then I was thinking, like, that show made a lot of stars that, like, just dipped off. For, like, Ashton Kutcher's not nearly the star he was anymore. Topher Grace was arguably never really a star. He was in that, like, what the fuck was that? Guess Who's Coming to Dinner or whatever remake? Or no, that was Bernie Mac. Wait, was that him or was that?
I don't know.
Or like My Boss's Daughter or something. He was like in one of those stupid movies, and like Venom, which was
Yes.
holy fuck, so fucking angry still.
That didn't bother me for whatever reason.
I hate him. Holy fuck. I'm still mad. Like, Mila Kunis is arguably the only one that came out, like, smelling of roses because of her involvement with Family Guy and, like, constantly having a job, basically. But, yeah, I don't know. It's weird. That show is not very good, but
I watched a lot of it.
it's just like has a place and time for me. Like, rewatching it is like, oh, I remember this gag. It's weird. Because that's not a show I think about ever. So, yeah. We should move on. We have questions.
Yeah, questions.
For the first time ever, not ever. So yeah, we don't usually ask for questions or comments or stuff to talk about because we usually have a lot to talk about. But I figured, what the hell? Let's see if anybody's interested. A few people were, so let's just get
answering questions.
The Juker wrote in with 2 different things, so I'll go through his first just to keep them kind of together. What mods would you like to see that can improve on XCOM 2 or just add to it, i.e. some customization or aliens? The ability to export my characters to the Steam Workshop for other people. That's what I want. That's like literally it. I want to be able to download, like, let's say for example Juker here. I want him to be able to upload like his whole team and then me download it and tell him how bad it sucks or something. Like, I just want to try people's things. I want, like, somebody to make Big Boss, and then, like, I can download Big Boss. Like, I just want to be able to download a bunch of stupid celebrity skins, basically. That's what I want. That's it.
I think someone has made, like, big packs of video game character stuff.
Oh, probably, for sure, yeah.
For me, I don't know, I just really want the percentages to fucking work. I wish if someone modded in, hey, we fixed their randomizer, so now it's good. That would be cool.
Like, accurate percentages would be amazing. That would actually be game-changing. In, like, a Bethesda modders fixing a Bethesda game way.
Yeah. I think that's my biggest gripe.
That's actually a good one. Yeah, I agree with that one for sure. His second question is, perhaps also the 25th anniversary of Blizzard, what would you like to see from them in the future? Then he put hashtag Blackthorn. I would really like to see a Blackthorn character in Heroes of the Storm. I don't think I necessarily care if they bring Kyle back. I can't remember his last name, Kyle something.
I would like to see Blizzard giving me access to the Overwatch beta. And to all my friends. That's what I would like to see.
I want to see them give me, like, 5 codes to give out. So I could, like, not give them to anybody I know and just give them out on Twitter to the first person who downloads them.
God damn it.
That would be real rude. A little funny, though. For me.
Yeah. I just want Overwatch. Like, I can't even think about what they would do next that I would want, because I'm so invested in wanting that thing. Yeah.
Okay.
I just want to play Overwatch. That's where I am with Blizzard right now.
Yeah.
And
I'm the same way.
I'm looking forward to Legion, too.
Yeah, so. Yeah, they're kind of hitting the home run for me right now for their 25th anniversary.
Yeah, they're not in a place where they've put out enough new stuff that I'm like, I want to see that stuff, and then
I want to see another Diablo expansion, actually. That is one thing I do want to see. I want to see them take that game and push it further. I don't know that they will necessarily, because they're kind of implementing Diablo stuff into World of Warcraft, so we'll see. We'll see what the Diablo team can... I just want that to feel like a new, fresh thing again. Like it did when Reaper of Souls came out, and they fixed it so it was playable.
Yeah, Reaper of Souls is a good expansion.
Should do another. That was so good. Yeah.
Should do another one. I'm just super happy they tied the knot on StarCraft 2.
Yeah.
That they, like, finished that story. Now they don't have to worry about that anymore. It's cool when companies finish the story they set out to tell, and then you can move on, and they can move on.
For sure. This one's specifically for you. M2K, or Peter, however you want to call him, wrote in and said, Homer, thoughts on Persona 4 dancing, or thoughts on how Persona 4 dancing could be improved. I've been going through the game files with some friends. It's clear the gameplay was meant to be different and have more playable characters.
So the easy one to say is I wish if you made a mistake in the dance, that was reflected somehow in what was happening on screen. Like, that's the simplest. That would be a lot of work on their animated and wouldn't really make the game any better, but that's, if, like, wish fulfillment, that's what I'd want. I'd also probably want more options in terms of, like, letting multiple characters be the main dancer on more of the dances, because as it is now, it's one character per dance for the main one. Although you do get a bunch of options on backup dancers, but just like more variety in that kind of stuff, and specifically like showing effects on the crowd, because there's a whole system in that game is based on crowd reaction to how you're dancing, and something in the graphics that represented that, like the monsters in the background becoming more wild or whatever, which is what's theoretically supposed to be happening if you're fucking up or whatever.
Right. Huh. I don't know what any of this means, but sure. That's why it was directed to you. So.
Yeah. Mostly, I think the gameplay in that game is really good. I just think they're wish fulfillment stuff, there's certain things in the graphics you could do that would be cool.
Cool. All right. This feels like old school podcast right here. Meowth wrote in with 3 questions. Here we go. All right. How do you guys avoid that Super Bowl thing everyone talks about?
I watched it, actually. I had it on the TV in the background and checked in with it occasionally.
You're real bad at avoiding it, then.
Well, I could have avoided it easily. For me, I kind of care about football, sort of, but the Super Bowl is like the worst football game to watch because the commercials are so long and the halftime show is so long. Right. It's like, and it's just so weird to me that like lots of people who don't care about football start caring about the Super Bowl. Like, that's just a bizarre phenomenon to me. Although I guess whatever, like there are things that I'm not that into that maybe I only care about the final match. Like, I don't know. I can't think of an example, but I could see that happening. It's just with football, I know a lot about football, so
okay,
it's whatever. And I don't feel the need to talk about it on Twitter at all.
Yeah, that's fair. Me neither, but I didn't watch it.
That's fair. I don't know why people who don't care about who wins watch it, kind of, unless they're gambling on it, because then they're degenerates.
Yeah. People that gamble are degenerates. Can confirm. Alright, she also writes in with another one. How many people do you think are going to die from cancer by the end of 2016?
A lot?
This is... I love these. These are so Meowth questions. I love them. I miss these. How many people do you think are... Like, I'm hoping -1 right here. That's all I can talk about. Like, other than that... like, my boss, who was diagnosed with cancer, might. So, there's 1. I'm sure there's going to be, like, at least 5 more huge celebrities throughout the year from it. And, like, 100,000 people you've never heard of, probably. All with loving families that are going to miss them. It's going to be a sad affair. A lot of people are going to die from cancer in 2016. That's what I'm confirming.
A lot of people are going to die.
Yeah. Her last question. Last one. Any tips on reading college textbook chapters in a short amount of time? So, the way I used to do it is what you have to do is kind of train your brain to like look at a paragraph and only sniff out the important information. Mm-hmm. That's kind of like... If you get into the mode of doing this, you won't notice words like the, of, like all the small words that like join things together. You'll just notice like keywords almost and get the information that way. Mm-hmm. That's like literally the only way. If you need to read like college textbooks and stuff like that, like you just kind of want a gist of what's going on. If it's like for a reading class or like reading comprehension or literature, you should read the whole thing though.
Yeah.
It depends what it is, what the information is.
The easy answer is just keep doing it. You'll get better. Like, just push yourself to try and read faster.
Yeah.
Because it's an acquired skill.
Yeah.
One of my tricks was just putting my finger on the page and just sort of dragging it. And then if I couldn't keep up, I would stop and start again. But just like as a physical way to push myself. So that was one of my tricks.
Yeah. Sadie writes in with, let's get deep. What's the meaning of life?
Fuck. I don't remember what it was. I mean, it's a movie. Monty Python's The Meaning of Life. First, you get the sugar. Then
Right.
you get the money.
Right.
Then you get the women.
What's the meaning of life? No fucking idea.
Probably sex.
Like, probably. That's at least a driving force for it.
Yeah.
The meaning of it, like, just wasting time, bruh. I guess.
Sitting on the dock of the bay.
Exactly.
Time roll away. Yeah, just listen to Otis Redding. You'll understand.
Yep.
It'll all come to you.
I don't know. Like, just enjoy life. That's the meaning, dog.
Try to have a good time and not go insane from stress.
There's
It could be a
always
struggle. It could
Yeah.
be a struggle, but try.
that. Yeah. Her follow-up question is, then to follow the other question off, something trivial. Favorite junk food?
Favorite junk food.
Junk food is the meaning of life. So they tie together.
Junk food is that thing that gets you from one day to the next.
Yeah. What would you consider junk food? Like, does it have to be, like, a snack? Or would, like, fast food or pizza count?
For junk food, I think of it as a snack.
Yeah,
that's
okay.
me.
So
I
not
go
like a fast food meal sort of
Yeah.
thing. Okay. Favorite junk food then? Like, I really like beef jerky and pretzels. I like salty. Like, I'll take like a salty snack like peanuts or something like that over candy and chocolate any day.
Mhm. For me, it's probably potato chips.
It depends what the chips are for me.
I really like Ruffles.
Just like plain.
Yeah.
Do you use dip or anything?
No.
The most boring person.
Dude, when it comes to food, I'm not even worth talking to. Don't worry about it.
I'm not even worth talking to. I'm just trying to think more junk food stuff. Oh, dude, nachos. Nacho cheese. I love me some nacho cheese. Yeah. You know what? I might go with that, or like a hot dog. I can always go for just like a hot dog from like 7-Eleven or just some like gross place. We're not talking like a ballpark Frank where you're paying like $8 for a dog. We're talking about like $2 hot dog you get at the corner store.
I don't know.
Good for those.
I don't know why my brain went to this fried chicken place
Okay.
I would go to. They would have like one half a corn on the cob just sitting there in this like rotator thing that would dip it in water slightly every once in a while to keep it fresh.
Weird.
It just looked like the grossest fucking thing.
That's so gross. Oh, that being said, corn dogs. Corn dogs are delicious as well. Yeah. I think that does it, though. I think that's
Yeah.
a podcast.
That seems like a podcast.
Yeah. Thank you
We
for
did it.
listening, everybody, if you listened this far. Let me just pull something up here. I just want to know what our time in the call was. I'm just curious.
It's like over 3 hours. We're at like 3:19.
That's pretty short. We could
So, like,
call it there.
Podcast. Yeah.
Yeah. We had a lot to talk about, so.
Mhm.
Yeah. If anybody wants to write in for further questioning and stuff next time, you can do so actually at podcast@BernieBarrel.co. That's always existed, but I haven't used it for a while, so I'll dust that off if you want. I also opened up DMs on the Burning Barrel Twitter. So if like somebody wanted to make a comment or send a tweet or something, like, and not have it show on Twitter, and like if you tell me, like, I won't say who said it or anything. Obviously, I'll know, but like, I'll keep it anonymous as best I can. You can even just send. Actually, if you use Tumblr, you can send anonymous questions through my Tumblr as well, and then I'll decide whether or not I read them, because people are assholes when they're anonymous. But whatever. But like, yeah, there's a few ways you could send that shit in. Other than that,
Giant Bomb opened up their Tumblr to anonymous questions a couple weeks ago.
oh no,
That was pretty funny. Nightmare having Brad have to deal with that. What he had unleashed, and Jeff just laughing.
yeah. Well, Jeff knows because he's done that stuff
Yeah.
before.
Exactly.
Yeah,
He's like, "You're really gonna? Okay, whatever. If you want to do it."
it's a bad idea, honestly. Usually, because people are just jerks, and then you get bots like giving you like porn links sometimes through open
Nice.
boxes. It's great. Yeah.
Sounds like a fun time.
Mama Kazooie says, I stayed up till 2 in the morning just for the podcast. We appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for listening.
Especially since you probably have school tomorrow. I apologize for that. We'll be back next time, though. Thank you again for listening, and have a great week.